Yeah, me too.
Well, we are now. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Infinite Horizon. We a little bit on the late side, not by much, but a little bit, just because we kept getting distracted and forgetting why we were all here. So, or maybe that was just me.
We were trying to stall Lucas so that we wouldn't have to do this.
Successfully, I might add. I honestly, with the way that my brain has been working today, it was very easy on you. It was a very easy task for you to distract me. So, yes, hello everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. As you can see, that's it. That's the end of that sentence. Um, so, hello to our moderator, Mr. Jonathan Boyle, resident bard, Popcorn Lizard. Hello and welcome back.
Hello.
We are. I think everybody's just kind of stalling today. We're just all stalling because
We're afraid.
I'm a little nervous.
Oh, not me. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm
Let's
so
go
excited, but I
around.
also am experiencing
just kind of
terror.
like
Yes.
the general mood of this this show right now is concern.
I would say that.
Before we start, I want to shout out to Jolly Old Obnixilis, a friend of mine who has a Rule of Lore mug as of today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
So cool.
yeah, so we now have one out in the wild. So
That's
I'm very
awesome.
excited.
You can see a picture in the Discord. Check
Yeah,
it out.
picture in the Discord. So before we get started, I just want to say I'm glad you're all here with us. And
Happy to be here.
yeah,
Me too.
that's tonight's announcement. That's tonight's pre-stream
Glad to
announcement.
have you here.
I'm glad to have you here. All right. Well, I think we're just gonna go ahead and get tonight's show going, unless anybody has any
Yeah.
objections.
I'm ready.
I'm just kidding. I'm not giving you that option. All right, here we go,
No,
everybody.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going into tonight's episode. We're gonna get started with the intro. It's gonna be a time.
Let's panic during the intro.
Yes.
Some will say this is the end. We're surrounded, but we won't give in. No. Who will save us? Who will save us? Sometimes you gotta let go. Leave it up to the hero. Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows. All hail to the heroes. They're gonna save us. Yeah, save us. Yeah, save us today.
And we're back.
Oh, well, hey.
We're back. We
Whoa.
have some weird
Nothing
energy here tonight.
happens here.
Nothing happened.
In the best way possible. Welcome back. Before I forget, I will also remind everybody at the end of the episode, but I'm just too excited to not say anything about it. This Friday on Ramblemancy, there will be a non-zero number of the cast of Infinite Horizon on Ramblemancy talking about this very show, answering your questions, hanging out, talking about our favorite stuff about this show.
After show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun.
It's going to be fun. So, yes, again, on Friday, there will be a non-zero number of the cast of Infinite Horizon. So, be there or don't if you can't make it. All right, let's get started. So, when we left off previously on Infinite Horizon, last time, there was a epic preparation of defenses as the crew of Awakener secured the prison colony, the mining colony, wresting it from the control of one Baron Peak. Preparing for his inevitable retaliation, the group went around and prepared a variety of in a variety of different ways suited to their strengths. one of the most effective being Olem rigging up the tractor beams so that they could be utilized as essentially flight disruptors for the incoming shuttles. And by far the most terrifying, which was Bina, who, upon seeing the shuttles arriving, reached out to them and scared the bejesus out of them all. And which, of course, made them far less effective and confident. And so, without losing, in an amazing display of defense, without losing a single person, a single member of the Resistance, the the crew of Awakener, as well as the Resistance, defended the hell out of this place. And after which there was sort of a bit of downtime while Wynn, the leader of the Resistance, set about contacting Silverbreak so as to realign the parameters of the deal that they had with Baron Peak over the resources found in this mine. So during that downtime, we had quite a few conversations with the crew of Awakener, namely one of the more notable of which was Jade, who was a little on the shifty side for most of the episode. The young 18-year-old mechanic apprentice. I don't know. He's
Heckling secrets out of favorite NPCs.
yeah. It was revealed eventually that after Abriel mentioned that there were supplies missing and was convinced that it was the Voxora, the synthetic being known as Patch, who she does not trust at all, and made that very clear. It was eventually revealed that, in fact, it was Jade who had taken the missing supplies, because since the crew left Sulan, a couple weeks now, about a week passed. I think it's about a week or so, maybe a little more. I think it's a bit more than that. Since they left Sulan, they've been playing host unknowingly to a stowaway who Jade discovered by accident and has somewhat befriended. That's unclear, because right about the time that Bina was convincing Jade to lead her to this stowaway, Wynn got back in contact with everybody, saying that there was a shuttle approaching that was refusing to answer comms, and all hands were needed. So, as the crew of Awakener went back to the command center of the mining colony to discuss what to do about this incoming shuttle, eventually Wynn made the call to disrupt the flight pattern and not allowing them to land. However, it was just the slightest bit too late, and while the incoming shuttle's flight pattern was in fact disrupted, it crashed on the landing platform. Members of the Resistance, along with the crew of Awakener, went to go and investigate this unwelcome and potentially dangerous new arrival, at which point the sole occupant of this shuttle exited and began in a terrifying display of similar powers to those that are held by the crew of Awakener, began to cut down the entirety of the squad of Resistance that had surrounded the transport, at the end of which the crew of Awakener got there just the slightest bit too late, as this individual, clad head to toe in tactical gear, turned to them and uttered the chilling words, "You all are very hard to find, but not hard enough." And that is where we left off. So,
Yes.
that's where we pick up tonight's game. So,
You got this.
at this point, y'all, I'm going to need you to roll some initiative. Hold on. Let me know if this is too much. I'm playing this. You hear it? It's good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I just noticed that there is a gap back here that's really bothering me. I'm sure nobody noticed until I pointed it out, but I hate it. So I'll be right back.
Get it. I noticed
Well, we can
because
roll some initiative.
I only noticed
Well,
because
we'll have to wait until we know the difficulty.
what the difficulty is. Dexterity, we can use that, right, in this?
Dex power shift.
Cool, perfect. I'm really glad.
Speed.
Okay, sorry, I forgot
It's
to
been a
tell you
while.
difficulty before I left. The difficulty on that initiative is going to be 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't have anything to help, so I'm just gonna roll.
Okay.
All right, that
Which is
dexterity
that's a
power
15
shift
or
is
better.
gonna.
For those keeping track
Peach,
at
do you
home.
have a Dex power shift?
Yeah, I have a Dex power shift.
Gonna
Here we
use
go.
that for show.
Natural 20!
Oh well. There you go.
Good on
Hey.
you getting new dice tonight, Caitlin.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Jesus, good call. After last week, I was so afraid that was
18.
gonna be a 1 right off the bat.
I rolled a 6, so.
I don't get jack shit on initiative, do I?
All right, hold
You
on.
get
a
to
second.
go.
Do.
That's pretty cool. I got an 18.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay,
I got 16.
16. Sorry, what'd you get, Peach?
I got 6.
6. So everybody except for Peach gets to go. So
Leaps into action.
yeah,
I'm gonna
so
just watch and observe for right now.
Peach is like, you know what, you guys got this.
You
I'll
guys
just,
take this
got
I'll
one.
just hang out over here.
We
Yeah.
have the more aggressive ability.
All right. So, y'all could decide between the 3 of you who gets to go first. It's up to you right now.
I would like to go first.
All
if
right.
That's okay.
Please do.
Okay. So how far away are we from this person? Are we still approaching? I
Yeah,
think that
I'd say
was
right
where
now
we
you
left
are
off.
all within short range of this
Okay.
individual.
So as we're kind of like running up, watching all of this happen, this dude just like attack and knock down what, like 10? Were there like 10 people with us?
Yeah, something
Or
like
whatever,
that.
just, like an absurd amount of people in like 10 seconds. Bina's gonna kind of like pull her hands back, and there's kind of this like crackling, sparking, kind of surrounding her hands and kind of like in her eyes. And I'm gonna try to do dazzling radiance at him, and I'm gonna use the power shift for the attack roll.
Okay, sounds good. So the difficulty here is going to be 5.
Okay. 5. I have power shift.
Mhm.
Down to 3. I don't think that I have anything that helps here. So I'm going to knock it down 1 more. I'm gonna spend for it, and then I'm gonna roll.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
So that brings us down to a difficulty of 2.
2. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make a roll.
Unless my any perception test involving sight helps here, but I doubt it does.
Nope, not in this case.
Nope. All right. Okay. 15.
15 succeeds. So
Yes.
all right. So
So he's got this like in kind of showing up in his eyes as the sparking light burst effect, and they take 2 damage. And until the next round, the difficulty of defense tasks to resist the creature's attack is reduced by 1. We can't see their face, anyways. Maybe we just see bursts of light inside their helmet.
all right.
So whoever on their turn, whoever they attack, you get a reduction on difficulty.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Also, I realized just now that remember right before we went live and I said I feel like I'm missing something. I figured it out. I figured out what it was. It's my headphones.
Oh,
I am going to go grab those really fast. It's gonna take me like seconds, so I will be right back.
The Flash.
Jason, you want to go next or should I?
You do. You do your thing. I'll go last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go last, but
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
on this side of
The
combat.
first
Yeah.
last. Yeah.
On this
basically the
side.
first
You'll go
last and
first
we'll
on the second side of combat.
exactly.
Oh gosh.
how I
be first, last, first, last, first, last.
Bless you.
It's inside. You got it in one.
Of course my headphones tangled. They never do, but of course today.
Today, yeah.
Today would be, yep.
We're full of
Day.
It's just gonna be one of those
Weird.
days.
yeah. We're all full of weird energy. It's fine.
Including my headphones.
No, it's
Suppose it would probably help if I plugged it into the right thing. There we go.
Myself, dang it. Well, I mean my character.
All right. All right. So, with that immediate burst of light, who wants to go next?
I will. And I just like wheel back with my right hand, or my right hand, and fling a pulse of gravitons or whatever the heck it is as an onslaught, just aiming center mass, just trying to knock this person out.
Okay. Caitlin, sorry, remind me what you said the effective was that difficulty to a hit is reduced?
2 damage, and then when that creature attempts to like attack, so it's until the next round, the difficulty of defense tasks to resist this creature's attacks is
Okay,
reduced by 1. So
gotcha.
it doesn't affect anything until.
Okay, cool. All right. So, yes, Henry, that the difficulty on that will be 5. So,
Eeps.
that's a 15 or better.
Gosh. Let me use my 2 power shifts for accuracy here
Okay.
instead of damage, and I think I want to spend a level of effort,
Okay.
which will only cost me 1 because my edge and intellect is up to 2 now.
Nice. All right.
All right.
That brings the difficulty down to 2.
Yeah.
So 6 or better.
So and to be clear, this is not the mental version of onslaught. This is like throwing physical force at his chest. And 13.
13. All right. How much damage does that do?
4.
4. All right. Okay. So, with a sudden like rippling of the air, there's just like that leaves Olem's hand. You can see as this sort of distortion passes through the air, striking this figure who is still sort of like still hovering about 5 feet or so above the platform.
That's right.
Um,
Forgot about that.
yeah,
Yeah, me too. Shit.
yeah, you see as it hits him center mass, and he just like kind of tumbles end over end backwards, and then just sort of like rights himself in the air, and then just sort of kind of steadily, slowly kind of floats back towards his original position. Mason, I believe that brings us to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like
And then Mason takes out a gun and just
powers,
shoots.
powers, gun.
What?
my move.
Which are the stun gun or the pistol?
Pistol.
Okay. All right.
He means business, so I mean business as well.
Fair enough. Okay. Difficulty is 5.
Okie dokie. Being trained in hand weapon, light and medium,
Yep.
we'll bring it down. What, 1?
Yep.
Cool.
Bring it down 1.
Okay. I want to try my luck here right now with this roll.
Okay.
The 12 or better, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a difficulty 4.
Oh, what about effort?
Yeah,
Oh, you know what?
You can spend.
Yeah, I was just debating. I'll do it. I'll spend a level of effort to bring
Okay.
it down.
Does this affect your like speed power shifts? Is this a speed task? I
I
don't actually know how that works.
I think the way that the ones that you have are not in like that, like for attacks. It's specifically for
Defense.
defense.
Yeah, I have dexterity, resilience, or something in healing of some. Yeah.
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
So I think yours are first defense rolls.
Defensive, yeah.
Okay. So that brings
But
it. Go ahead.
I'll spend a level of effort.
Okay, so then it's difficulty 3, so 9 or better.
All right, here goes. Yeah, I got a 3.
That's not yay.
All right. So,
I know it's not.
Mason, you're just like running down the platform. You pull back the pistol and take a shot. And as you fire off the pistol, You see as he's sort of beginning to right himself, you actually watch something kind of interesting happen. You watch something that you've seen before, as you watch as the air around him begins to ripple and distort, and you watch a very similar thing that you've seen Olem do suddenly, as like this sort of distortion of light just comes around him, and you watch as the bullet, as you fire it, the projectile just sort of gets caught and begins sort of orbiting around this individual. It is now his turn.
Yep.
So you watch as all of a sudden he's just not where he was.
Yep. Cool. Great. Awesome.
And Olem, you turn as like kind of looking around, and you turn and he's right next to you.
Oh.
As
Oh God, that's horrifying.
he is going to
Not like that. Do not like that.
he takes a palm and goes to strike you in the chest, and I need you to make a speed defense roll. The difficulty on this is
Okay.
going to be 6.
Down by
Jeez.
1 because of dazzling
Right,
radiance.
down by 1.
5.
This is more about flavor than I think. But are we wearing EVA suits if we're out here, probably on the platform?
Not on the platform. You wouldn't need them out here.
Okay, cool. Just okay. So 6 down to 5, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Speed defense. Yikes. I got a fresh speed edge from my focus, so I'm gonna spend an effort in that. Just one level of effort from speed.
Okay.
Bring it down to 4.
Okay.
Looking for a 12 or better. Yikes! He's just about to palm my chest. Is what he's doing.
Yep. You can see as he's reaching back, you can see the area around his fingers is sort of starting to ripple as well.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Boy.
Okay, here's my roll. Oh, 18.
So at the last second, as you see him, you just dive, and as his hand just sort of palms through the air, right about where your chest would have been, you watch as just the exact same ripple of distortion from his hand just goes flying out over open air, over the edge of the platform.
Exact same as in like what I just did to him.
Yeah.
Or tried to do. Uh-oh. It's Dark Olem. So I dodge
Oh,
like
God.
sideways, backwards, and like skitter and almost fall onto my back, but like catch myself and end up standing up like 7
Yeah.
feet away.
Yeah. It's like one of those, when you like change direction very quickly, where you like
Yeah,
go,
like,
your hand touches the ground, and you like kind of barely just sort of get moving out of the
Right.
area. He then turns, and on the platform, and turns back to face all of you, and that's gonna be his turn. So, Peach.
The lights blink out of his eyes. He kind of shakes
Yeah.
it off at that point.
And for
Okay.
the sake of this is what it's gonna look like. You watch as he just sort of like kind of reaches up, Bina, and you watch as like he passes a hand in front of his face, and you watch as some of that radiance from inside the helmet that you sort of are watching sort of is siphoned away as he's holding it for a second in his palm, and then it just dissipates. All right, Peach, what you got?
Okay. Kind of watching all of this, I'm gonna go ahead, kind of looking at the still hovering, right? He's still hovering off the ground.
Actually, at this point, he's now on the platform itself.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of look over at him and reach out as if kind of feeling out, kind of like I'm gonna try to put him to sleep, but then start as I kind of reach out, he starts swelling to the surface different kind of dreams that are starting to come until one just gets ripped away from him, and I'm gonna use Dream Thief and literally just like. Yeah, I can read the ability if that helps.
Yeah, please do. I'd be.
Yeah, that was kind of a poor description. But you steal a previous dream from a living creature within short range. The creature loses 2 points of intellect, and you learn something the GM chooses to reveal about the creature, its nature, a portion of its plans, a memory, and so on. And you can choose that, but if I have any say, I want to know plans or nature, one of those two. Plans would be more helpful.
Okay.
But
So, sorry. So, remind me the actual specific dream part of it. What does that do? Is it just like a gaining? Is this just a gaining information ability? Is that what this is?
So it does 2 intellect damage.
Okay.
Unless I use my power shift, and then it does more.
Okay. So here's what you get if what you're trying to do is learn plan information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you reach out, you can feel just sort of a wash of different. It's like being in a room that is all like monitors, all just screens, and all of them are playing images in fast forward, basically. As you like start sorting through the chaos, like organizing it, you reach out and just grab one, and you can see immediately here you catch just the barest glimpse of a plan. And in this instance, you can see that while you all occupy a measure of this individual's thoughts and schemes, first and foremost, you recognize in front of everything, you recognize Awakener. A lot of his intention is focused there. Right now, you are all a temporary setback. Yeah, that's what you get out of this.
Okay, that was not what I was expecting at all, and that's terrible.
I've had that in the back of my mind for a long time that we have big property.
Okay. And that it should do 2 intellect damage as well. And I have a power. So is that like a attack roll then? It does intellect damage.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Okay.
That's technically should have happened first, actually, but that's okay.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I thought, but it's okay.
Okay, but
And as kind of this is happening, Peach's eyes are glowing, kind of like a bright, kind of like the color of her skin, like the orange,
Mhm.
like completely glazed over. Like her pupils are huge and.
okay, this will be an intellect roll with a difficulty of. The difficulty on this one is going to be 6.
Okay. And so if I have a power shift, I can't use it for like you have to use it for either attack or for damage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have Dream Thief. Does having the ability lower it?
Hmm?
Does having just the ability Dream Thief does that lower
Nope.
the difficulty?
It's what's linking.
Okay.
It's what's letting you be able to do this.
Okay. So then I'm gonna use the power shift to lower the difficulty.
Okay.
Does that lower it by 1?
Yes.
2?
Yep.
Okay, 1. So that's a 5. Do I have anything else that can help at this point? Really? I don't think any of my
I
abilities.
mean, other than
besides-
spending effort, I don't know that there is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and spend a level of effort.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm just. That brings it down to a 4.
Yes.
To a
Yeah.
6.
Yep.
Okay. 12 or better. I'm gonna do that.
All right.
Okay. I rolled an 11.
Oh no.
So.
Okay, so I'm gonna not put the damage, but you can keep that piece of information. You will say, for the sake of this, that like as you're reaching out, you kind of first focus on like gaining any piece of information, and as you reach out, you like find just sort of a weakness in like his mental defenses, and you just sort of reach through and pull out this are able to glean this like small fraction of the individual's immediate plans.
Yeah, the way I kind of think of her abilities is just like bait drawing up the fish to the surface kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly how this happens. Like you like draw up a little bit of the thought, and as you're about to push back, it's like he suddenly becomes aware of your presence and in his mind, and then just pushes back, defending at the last second. Okay.
She kind of recoils a little bit.
All right. So it'll bring us back to the top. Who's going?
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna,
Oh yeah, let's blind him a little.
yeah, I'm going to try. I'm not gonna go for accuracy this time. I'm gonna go for effect, but that's if I can hit. So
Okay.
we'll see.
All right.
I'm gonna put. It's 5, right?
He has several different difficulties for different things, and so I'm trying
Okay.
to keep track
I
of
had
like
5 last time. If that helps.
yeah.
is
I
helpful.
think wait. I think it technically should have been no 5. No, it is 5. It is 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna run out of intellect points, y'all, if I keep doing this. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort, and that's all I can do, and hope for the best. Wait, no, I'm saving my power shift because I want in effect and not in.
Okay.
Okay, 3 or better. Three difficulty, 9 or better.
Right. 9 or better.
Oh my god,
What'd you get?
it's a 1.
Ooh.
I don't want a GM intrusion right now though, so I'm gonna XP to reroll.
Okay. All right.
Because this seems
Is
bad.
this the first time you haven't taken the GM intrusion?
Well, that's not a GM intrusion. That's just I rolled a 1 and something bad will happen. A GM intrusion
Okay.
is when Lucas offers it. That was me
Okay.
incurring it.
Well,
There you go.
a 1 is an automatic GM intrusion.
It's
but
an
you're,
automatic GM
But you're
intrusion.
avoiding it, is what you're
I'm
doing.
avoiding, yeah. Instead of if every time I've been offered, I will take it. But if that I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
16.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 2 points of damage, and I'm putting the power shift into effect. So next time he tries to attack someone, it's lowered by 3.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
Because it's normally 1, and then my 2 power shifts make it 3.
gotcha. Okay.
Don't want him to hit my friends. There we go.
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right.
Sparking inside, like bursts of light inside his helmet.
Okay. Sounds good. Who's up next? Olem Mason?
I'll take it away again if
Okay.
that's all right. So
Good.
did I have any sense of when I tossed when I onslaughted him before if his like tactical armor absorbed it at all?
Yeah, you would. I think you would know. No, you would have noticed that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Having like jumped away from his close strike, I stand up and I put my hand. I do like this, one of these, and my arms shake a little bit. And then I just blast at him. A similar thing, an onslaught again, but this one more like a brute force deal. I'm concentrated less on trying to hit him and more on just trying to blast out a lot of energy. And
Okay.
So there I go.
All
There you
right.
go.
So sorry. What are you doing?
It's just a normal onslaught, but I'm not putting any power shifts into accuracy this
Okay,
time.
sounds good. So the difficulty on this one is going to be 6.
Hey, but I am going to spend some effort. All right. Definitely spend one
Uh-huh.
level of effort.
I think
heck,
I
okay.
gave you the wrong difficulty last time because, as I said, he has different difficulties for different things. So
Right.
I think I might have given you the wrong one, but this is the correct
that's-
one.
Sure. That's all. That's all good. Okay, so it was 6. I'm going to spend 2 levels of effort, which will cost me 3 total, I believe.
I think that's true. Yeah, because you have 2 edge.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, here. I hope I never get hit in the brain. And so that brings it from 6 to 4, and I'm just gonna roll that.
All right, 12 or better.
Or 12 or better. All right. I would love to roll the highest roll available.
Mm-hmm.
16, not bad.
Okay, well,
Pretty good,
you
pretty
still
good.
hit him.
Yeah, boom. And those power shifts now are going into damage. So it's 10.
Sorry, hold on a second. Okay, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
no.
The difficulty should have actually been 7, but it doesn't matter because
What?
the
7?
yeah, because
Because he's
yeah.
shimmering.
but it doesn't matter because you still hit it. You still hit it because you lowered it enough to the point where it doesn't matter. But yeah, okay. Sorry, you were in the middle of describing a thing.
Oh, I just boom! It's like a cannon blast of gravitational energy.
I like the idea that in this instance, rather than it being sort of like a concentrated, like small blast, it's just sort of this wide like wave that you just send out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you
It's like a concussive thing. Yeah.
as you strike him, he once again he flies up off of the platform. His feet leave the platform as he gets blasted back, and then he just sort of slows and remains in the air. And sorry, how much damage?
10.
Ooh.
Wow.
Thank God.
Oof.
Thank gods. Abysmal. I don't know.
All right. Okay. All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah. I try to think of something clever to say, but I can't think of anything, so I just stand there with desperate fear in my eyes and my arms outstretched.
Yeah. All right. Mason.
All right. Well. All right. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot.
All right. So the difficulty is 7.
All right.
So that's a
Still
21 or
using-
better.
Still using trained in medium and light weapons.
Right.
I still use that. I'm gonna basically do what I did last,
Okay.
which actually just brings it down to 5.
Right. Yep.
So I'll do, instead of one effort, I'll do both my efforts this time.
Okay. Which brings it
And-
down to
And
4.
Which I think is what I brought it. Yeah, 4 is good.
12 or better.
I'm gonna use the V die.
All right.
All right, here we go. It cocked
Okay.
because I'm using the lid, which is this tiny little thing right here.
Oh, tiny little rolling surface.
Yeah, yeah. Hoo-yah! Oh gosh, 7.
All right. So once again, another shot fires, and this one once again also gets caught, and you watch as it sort of orbits him for a second, then just drops. And in that moment, he is going to immediately retaliate, and suddenly, there's a blinding flash of light. Mason, and I need you to make a might defense roll. This will be a difficulty of 6.
Reduced to 3 immediately.
Right. Well,
Because you're helping. Someone's
No,
did
because
something.
his
yeah.
the next
Against
attack that he
defense rolls,
makes-
it's defense rolls. Yeah, defense rolls against attacks that he. So yeah, it is.
Yeah, anytime he's trying to attack someone to resist it, it's reduced
Yeah.
by 3
So it's a
immediately.
might defense roll of 3 now. Difficulty is 3,
Well, can I use my resilience power shift?
which does
I'm not really sure. I didn't write down the page number.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
is I
I
think
just wrote down resilience.
I don't know if you have a power shift in might defense rolls. I'm pretty sure you have them in speed defense rolls.
I also have one in might because
Oh.
of Explorer gets one in might, I think.
I
Explorers
think you
get-
might be right.
Yeah.
Um.
I do have this page almost bookmarked.
Okay. Yeah.
Takes me a long time to do things. Sorry. You know, I feel like they do.
I think you're probably.
Yeah, you have a might edge of 1.
That's
It's-
different. That's.
Oh, never mind.
That's.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I did get one from resilience. That I did write down.
Okay.
Resilience.
Resilience is might, defense, and armor.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
I get-
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So then, yes, you can reduce it further to 2.
Awesome. So it's at 2 right
Yep.
now.
So 6 or better right now.
Oh,
Unless
all
you
right.
wanted to spend, but otherwise it's...
I better. Roland hasn't been working out for me. So I'll spend a level of effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
From might, which I can do right now.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's just a 3 or better.
Yes. Yep. 3 or better. Difficulty 1.
17.
Whew. Okay. Yeah. So, as you, being a member of the regulators, you've had your fair share of experience with like flash grenades and things like that, and it's pretty much what this is. But essentially,
Like 2 weeks ago on Sulan too, actually.
yeah. And so in this moment, as you're staring once again, you brace for it, but knowing that you're going to be blinded, and then at the last second, you watch as like you feel like this membrane just sort of grow over your eyeball as everything just darkens immediately, and then there's just this flash, and as it finishes, your eyesight returns to normal as you sort of blink away. Those of you who can see him are watching him blink away this sort of like second lid that came down over his eyes.
Is it just a flash, or is there a bang effect? Is there like a bang too?
It's just a flash.
Okay.
It's you've seen Bina do it before. It's essentially the same thing.
Got it.
And he was a little bit off. He threw just a little bit in the wrong spot.
Yeah, just a little bit off.
He can't see shit.
Yeah. All right, but that does bring it to his turn.
That was his turn.
No, it was not.
Oh,
This
fuck.
was a thing that happened in reaction to Mason missing.
Oh man, I don't want to know what he does if I hit.
So, he is going to
Until the end of the next round, the difficulty of any of defense tasks to resist the creature. It's not the end of the round, so this still
Yep.
has -3 too.
Okay, cool.
Cool. It's not just the next. Oh, that's scary. I was like, oh no, we're good. Still got you guys.
you watch as like he's sort of like, in spite of the fact that he's kind of hovering in the air, you watch this. He's kind of been a little bit ragged. You watch his aim in this instance as he sort of threw this blast of light, this aim towards Mason, as he just sort of like it was off as he's sort of throwing with one arm. As you see, he's kind of favoring one. As he sort of suddenly you watch as he just as he just is once again upright and seemingly relatively healthy. Let's see. Okay, so and then as he's doing that, he is going to immediately he will just sort of float down just a little bit closer to where kind of in the direction of like where Mason and Peach are standing. That is his turn, however. So, which brings us to Peach.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna like whack us. So at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna try and I don't know if it'll work, but I'm gonna try and put him to sleep. So basically, the way I'm envisioning this is like it's almost like a fear response, and he's getting closer to me at this point. So at this point, Peach just kind of puts out these like massive like we'll sleep, and kind of is like bringing to the top of his mind the like the most peaceful dreams you can think of, like just trying to lull him to sleep.
Okay. This will be an intellect roll. The difficulty will be 6.
Okay. So power shift. So difficulty is gonna go down to 5. I'm trained in this as well. Does that? I know I have the okay. I'm trained in it, so
that brings it down to 4.
To 4. And I'm gonna spend spend effort.
All right.
I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort.
Bring it down to difficulty 2.
Oof, my electrical is looking a little rough right now, guys. Okay, so that's down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't
Yep.
have anything else, so
Okay.
it's just gonna have to be a roll.
All right, 6 or better.
Okay. I changed dice every single roll, so
It's important.
it was a 4. Can I use an XP to reroll that?
You can.
Yeah, or get someone from. I was gonna give you one, and if it didn't work.
Oh well, I have some XP.
Cool.
I have some from last time. I'll use mine, but if I fail this roll, we'll see.
All right, let's see what happens. 6 or better.
Guys,
What?
it was a 20.
Hey.
It was a 20.
Oh my
I
god.
love it.
All right, major effect.
Hell yeah.
What would a major effect
So-
be for that? Sleeps real cozy.
Or yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like maybe it might. I mean, it would probably work, and then something that he was dreaming about would probably appear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Is the thing that I would be thinking would happen.
Here's the thing. I am gonna offer you a GM intrusion, however.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. Awesome. Make back that
Get
XP.
that XP back.
All right, and go ahead and give the other one to somebody else.
I'm gonna give it to Freeman because he was gonna give it to me.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, here's how this plays out. You just sort of in a panic response, just lash out immediately, seeing him getting closer and closer. You lash out with your mind immediately, and here's what the rest of you see. You see as he just sort of, as he's just starting to touch down on the platform, his feet touch the ground and he immediately collapses, but so does Peach. You watch as they both just collapse simultaneously. And in this moment, so first of all, Peach, I want you to go ahead and immediately take 3 points of intellect damage. As you reach out, kind of with your ability, and reach for his like most peaceful dreams, peaceful memories, peaceful feelings, to sort of lull him to sleep as you have so many other times. And you're met with just an iron will of resistance. And as you do, you kind of are locked in suspension for a moment, battling back and forth, to the point where the world around you just goes black. You tunnel vision on him, and everything around you just fades away until you're seeing just him, and that's it. Just the two of you, suspended in just this sea of darkness, as the two of you are just sort of standing across from each other, just pushing back against each other. You begin to feel yourself shaking. You can feel the sweat starting to roll down the side of your face. That same that headache that is becoming all too familiar, just returning as you hear that high-pitched whine as the two of you stand there locked in this contest of wills. And suddenly you feel yourself push, and your eyes open, and you just see, you feel yourself break through that defense for just a moment. His defense gives, and you are immediately looking around. You are locked in a space, the two of you. The world around you no longer black, and instead just a whirlwind of images. Some of them are your memories. Some of them you assume are his. You don't know. They're just flashing back past you, until at one point, just there's each memory, each dream, a blur. Some of them you recognize as familiar, even as yours, even though you don't quite have a grasp on what they were, as they whoosh past you, a blur of color. And then you stop at one. You see a skyline familiar to you, filled with the skyscrapers, the silver and white skyscrapers of Anzalon Prime. You are looking over your homeworld, standing on a balcony, just looking out across. And as you turn, you can see him turning back to you from that same view. And in that moment, you feel the backlash, just in full force, redoubled defenses, and you are thrust completely out of his mind. Simultaneously, as all of you are standing around this, the whole exchange from the outside, the whole thing took maybe about 2 seconds total, as you are all just sort of standing there watching, suddenly caught in what has just transpired in front of you, and immediately, as just a couple of seconds after Peach hit the ground, her eyes go back open, and she kind of begins pushing herself back up. Across the way where he has collapsed, you watch as he does kind of like he does a full kip up and just stands. Back to the top of the round.
Wait, Lucas, how many points of intellect damage did you say that I took?
3.
I'm at 0 intellect.
Okay, so then basically,
impaired.
yeah, you drop down to impaired, which honestly I never remember exactly what the effects of it are, because
It is +1 effort per level. You ignore Oh, sorry, this is so small. You ignore
Minor and major
minor and
effects
major
on rolls.
effects
Is what
on
it says.
rolls, and then combat roll of 17 to 20 deals only +1 damage.
okay. So I understand that to mean is, like, it costs an additional point to spend effort per level of effort.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay,
I believe so.
that's kind of how I understood that. But yeah, so each level of effort that you spend on any given task costs an additional point. All right. So Peach, you're just sort of like just starting to pull yourself back up and feeling the strain. It was all mental, but you feel it throughout your entire body. All right. Back to the top of the round. Who wants to go?
I'm going.
Okay.
I want to enthrall. I want to give my friends a round to do a recovery roll.
Okay.
So, is that still 5? Is it because it's a mental thing?
It is. Yes, it will be 5.
Okay. 5. I have a power shift and enthrall down to 3. I would like to spend a level of effort to bring it down to 2.
Mhm.
Oh, you guys, I'm looking rough too. It's fine. 6 or better. I think. Yeah. $17.
Okay. All right. Then, you watch as he has just sort of flipped himself back up to a standing position, kind of blade held in the blade that he was holding held kind of in a backhand grip, looking like he's getting ready to rush. You watch as he suddenly just sort of arm falls and he just sort of stands. Bina, it's not like the other times you've done this. You can feel him with everything he has fighting you. You can feel it. It is taking everything you have to.
I want all of you motherfuckers to take a recovery roll right now.
All right. So that brings us to Mason and Olem. Whoever wants to go next.
If you attack him, it will break the enthrall. So please take a recovery roll.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'm gonna take a recovery roll,
Nice. All right. Good
Good
idea.
choice. Good choice.
and I just still. Oh.
Yes, recovery
maximum
roll is a good
recovery.
idea.
Ooh, nice.
It's a D6.
Yeah,
correct?
D6 plus your tier.
Plus my tier. Perfect. Let's get it.
Okay, yay! I'm all
Cocked.
full again.
Ooh, 5. Perfect.
Nice.
You add your level to your recovery roll.
Yeah, yeah. So 7. Yeah.
Okay.
And he can take no action upon his
Correct. He cannot. However, I am gonna make you roll again to contain him, to keep
On
him contained.
his turn?
Yeah, because essentially the way that it's essentially like him, like fighting you. They basically this is a special case of your thing where he's essentially he is fighting you with everything he's got.
Okay.
Would it be an asset that I had just that Peach had just kind of mentally wrecked him for a second, or mentally debilitated him for a moment? Would that discombobulate him at all?
You know what? I'll allow it because you got that nat 20. You got that major effect. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it still 5 for this?
Yes. Yeah. He
And
will
for all
still
power shift.
So basically what you're doing here is you're taking him out of the round for a while. You've like and possibly
That's the-
more. Possibly more.
That's the point of enthrall,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 power shifts in enthrall.
Mhm.
1 help from Peach.
Mhm.
I'm getting really low in intellect, so I'm just gonna roll.
Okay. So it's difficulty 2 right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless sensing emotions, dispositions, or anything like that will help. But like I can feel when he's gonna push back. Like I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But otherwise, it's.
You know what? Yeah, actually, yeah, I would say so.
Oh fuck yeah.
I will say so.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely right. Like that will come into play here.
Okay, down to 1. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay. 3 or better.
Okay. Cool. 3 or better.
Woo!
6.
There we go.
Ooh, all right. So you can feel like the struggle just is. It's like you're starting to feel the strain of it in a way that you've never done before, and just you are able to contain him just barely, but you've got him. All right. So.
I think there's
Peach.
like a moment where like physically you kind of see like Bina like leaning back a little bit before she kind of like locks like in a full like forward motion and she's got him.
Yeah,
We're
you
good.
also, it should be noted that right now Bina is like very slowly, like the glow around her is starting to very slowly get brighter and brighter.
Oh, that's sick.
All right, Peach, it is your turn.
Cool. I'm gonna take a recovery roll.
Nice.
Good.
Just kind of like stand up, step back a little bit. While I'm making this recovery roll, it was a 3 plus your tier 8, so
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's 5. That's not bad.
And if you put any of that in intellect, you are no longer debilitated.
Yeah, I put it all in intellect.
Okay.
So I'm
Or
no
impaired,
longer,
not debilitated, impaired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no longer impaired.
Okay.
Debilitated would be scary.
That'd be bad. That'd be scary.
Very bad.
That would be very scary. But did I see his face on the balcony?
Mm-mm. Nope.
He was faceless.
No, like
With
he
the
was.
mask on
He
still?
still had like the. He still had like.
Helmet?
Yeah. The full head to toe tactical gear.
Okay. Well, that's my turn,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, because it takes an action to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So, brings us back to the top.
Yep.
Which
So
I'm just gonna go ahead and assume Bina is just maintaining.
Can I confer with my party?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think you absolutely can, but it's like you're concentrating on this and you're like getting like words out slowly.
She
but
speaks like like slowly and like very like monotone,
Mhm.
like like any ideas? I can hold it, but what do we want to do?
If I could just get a shot off.
yeah, I say, I think we got him if you let him go. I can't take too much more of this. I have my
Yeah,
fists.
she'll hold him. He can roll to defend himself, so you guys can go before Bina if you'd like while she's holding him. The only action he can take is to defend himself, and it will break immediately after he's attacked. So if either of you have something you'd like to do, you can go first.
Yeah, I would like to try to shoot him once again.
all right.
Unless you want to go first, Olem, like we've been
No,
doing.
you take it away. Take it away.
I'm gonna try to
Got
shoot
this,
him.
Mason.
Okay.
All right. Here's what it's going down. I am trained in weapons, light, medium.
Yeah.
What was the other one I was using?
I think you were using effort is what you were doing before.
Okay. All right. So it's at a 7 right now before I
Actually, sorry, it would be back to a 6 now because this aura around him is somewhat dissipated.
Perfect.
Like you can still
right.
you can still see it, but it's much closer to him. It's less far like out from his body. You can still see it, but it's much easier to sort of get focus on him from here.
Trained in medium light brings it down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend both my efforts.
Okay.
2 effort.
Brings it down to 3.
Okay. Which brings that down to okay. That's oh boy.
All right, 9 or better.
Trying to think if there's anything else I have that could help, but I don't think so. I've been doing this. Oh, that's right. I have a new. I don't think this would help, but I just got this for my last level up. Assessing danger, even though we're already in the danger, so it doesn't really matter. But never mind. I don't think that'll actually
Yeah.
help.
Is there anything that's useful that I have power shifts in enthrall? Like, I got them real good. Like, I don't know. Like, because that part of the effect is they can defend themselves, but
that's the only reason.
Help me holding give any helpful and be any helpful at all here?
I'd say that, yeah, I think so. It makes sense that, like, while he can defend himself, it doesn't mean he's just as good at it as he was before, because he's, like, fighting you and also trying not to get shot. So he's doing both of those things. So...
There you go, one more.
Yeah, you got an asset on that one.
Perfect. So now it's down to 3?
No, now it's down to 2.
Oh, perfect.
It was at 3, and now it's down to 2.
Right. Okay. I'm rolling.
All right, 6 or better.
I got a 5.
Oh,
I'm spending XP.
Okay.
Please.
Shoot him
Oh my
once!
I'm getting a shot in.
All right.
Oh, we spent so much XP this combat.
14.
Okay,
Ugh.
you hit
Hey,
him.
this is an important combat.
It is. I'm so scared.
All right.
Finally got a shot.
Yeah, you fire off that shot with the pistol. I think it's 2, right? Because it's a light weapon.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
I think it's a light handgun. Yeah.
You watch as the projectile clips his shoulder, and he just sort of, and immediately with that, he just sort of shakes off. Like, Bina, you can feel the connection just like break.
I think both him and Bina both have like a
Yeah.
shake out of it at the same time, shocked out of it.
Yeah. And he kind of like looks to his shoulder and just sort of reaches up to like where the armor is and like plucks it out.
Oh.
Like pulls it out of the armor and just sort of like the shard of shrapnel that just got fired at him as he takes it and just drops it, and you can hear it clatter to the ground as he looks up at you. He cracks his neck one way and then the other.
Should I have kept holding him? I don't know. I can't tell if this is a bad idea or not.
All right, Olem, you're up, I
Yeah.
think, because I think
Yeah, you guys can go first. That's
Bina
fine.
go? Okay, yeah. Well, as soon as the shot goes off, and as soon as this happens, I'm like, I do an onslaught, but this one is more about fucking with the blood pressure at the base of his skull inside his helmet with gravity.
all right.
So
Yeah.
All right. So this will be difficulty 5. This will be an intellect task, difficulty 5.
okay, all right. I'm not gonna use power shifts now, but I'm gonna spend all the effort I can.
Okay.
2 levels,
All the effort I can.
which brings it to difficulty 3.
Yes.
All right, trying to give him the old mind slice, the old brain squeeze.
Oh,
gosh.
brain squeeze.
17.
Ooh, I think you get. No, that's not at. Not.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
17
Yeah,
One
that's
extra
right.
point of damage.
1 extra
Yeah.
point of damage. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
Hot diggity dog. So then with my power shifts, that's 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, which is 9 intellect damage.
Yikes.
That is nasty.
Oh,
It's pretty nasty. It's pretty gnarly.
that would knock me down to impaired right now.
It's not doing him any favors either. I'll tell you that, right? I'll tell you that much right now. As he, like, you watch as he suddenly freezes and just you hear, just kind of muffled through like the heavily filtered helmet. As he just sort of stops and freezes, you can see as he like kind of convulses a little bit and just.
Essie's reaction that, like, as he starts to look up, Bina just goes, ah! And then does dazzling radiance again.
Okay. All right. This will be again difficulty difficulty
5. It's
5.
been 5 every time.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It'll be 5.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put power shifts into. I'll do 1 into accuracy and 1 into effect,
Okay.
because I have 2 of them. 'Cause
Alright.
Okay, so 5 to 4.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna spend for one more because I want to get him.
Okay. So that's 3.
Not great. Okay. All right. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, difficulty 3, 9 or better.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And you're better.
No. 4.
All right.
Yep. That's my turn.
XP, you want to re-roll?
You guys, I'm low on everything.
I mean, I see. Got it.
I just, well,
I mean, do you want an XP? I mean,
no. If I was gonna spend for it, I should spend for it.
I hear ya.
You know what? I spent intellect for it. I'm gonna spend XP just because,
Okay.
like, I want to not be down some points for no reason.
I was kind of thinking that. Yeah.
Good idea.
Well, that remains to be seen. No, 7.
Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's my
All
turn.
right. As you
Dice are not our friends tonight.
you reach out once again, just sort of in a panic move, just like and there's that explosion of light. But as the light is sort of bursting, you watch as it stops and then just goes back, as like he's holding out his hand towards you as you see the light, that burst of light disappears, holding his hand, and you watch as it just condenses back into this like tiny white hot mote, and then he just squeezes his hand in it. You watch as it just dissipates, and then immediately reacting to that,
Yep.
you watch as he rushes the remaining distance between you and him, and takes brings the sword from backhand and just strikes across Bina. I need you to make a speed defense roll.
The one time I'm not helpful here, I wasn't able to nix it. Okay, what's the difficulty?
The difficulty on this is going to be 6.
Okay, sensing dispositions, emotions. I can tell it's coming. Any of that?
Yep.
Would that help?
Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah, hell
Yep,
yeah.
I'll let it help.
Task involving sight.
Yeah, actually, that's that's absolutely important here. Like, you got to be able to see it coming in order to get away from it.
I'm good at everything except for attacking, you guys. This
Yeah.
is amazing. And then I'm gonna spend 1 because I'm doing great with speed. And I have an edge, so that's great.
Okay.
It's down to 1, right?
I think it's 2.
2.
I think it's down to 2.
Sensing emotions, task involving sight. Oh, it was a 6 task,
Yeah, it
not a
was
5
6,
task.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
6 or better.
I'm gonna spend 1 more. I'm gonna bring it down to 1.
Okay.
I cannot take my damage, you guys. It'll be so bad if I take my damage. Okay. 3 better. I'm afraid. 16. 16.
Whew. All right. So the way that this goes is as he rushes you just suddenly, very quickly, using the same like rapid movement that you saw him use to dispatch the entire team of resistance. He rushes you, and you just at the last second you raise up a hand and just flash a light right in front of him as he like swings down, and you just barely, you can feel and hear that sort of whistling through the air as the blade just sort of whips right past where you just were. His aim going just ever so slightly astray with that very slight burst of light as you just dip out of the way.
Bina is also very fast, so that helps too.
Yeah. Yeah. Bina has good reflexes, which she needs for her piloting. The blade, you see as sparks come up from the platform, and where the plasma blade struck, you can see a gouge now, like a steaming gouge from the platform itself.
You can take one of my fucking arms off, man.
Yeah. It is now his turn.
Oh, what? No.
As you watch as he immediately whips around, recovering from that, and aims a snap kick at Bina once again.
Yep.
So I need you. Actually, no, because you know what?
6 again?
No. No. It makes more sense for no. He's gonna aim that kick instead at Peach.
Oh.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, that kick is going right to Peach. So I need you now, Peach, to make a speed defense roll, difficulty 6.
Okay. Cool. So, power shift and dexterity?
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that counts.
Yep.
Speed. I think that counts.
Yeah, I think it's the same one that Mason has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have that helps. I don't think I have anything else, guys. Yeah, I mean, this isn't pleasant social interactions.
It is not, in fact.
This is a very unpleasant social interaction.
Pleasant social face kicks.
Yeah, so that's a 5 right now, and
Yeah,
it's a
5.
speed roll.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, if I spend effort, then it takes it from the speed pool, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort.
Okay.
To do that.
All right, bringing it down to a difficulty 3.
Yeah. Okay. And how many points does that take if I spend 2 levels of effort from speed?
The first level is 3, the second level is 2, but if you have
Okay.
if you have an edge, it eats from the total.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. Okay. So it's now just 2 or better,
Is
or
it?
is it 3 or better?
Hold on.
What
so
did you take? Your
So
Oh, right.
dexterity,
I think it's
how many?
3.
and then 2 levels of effort.
How much is your dex power shift?
Just 1.
Yeah, just a
Okay,
power
so that's
yeah.
difficulty 3.
Okay. Cool. That's all I got. So
Okay.
that's all I got.
All right, 9 or better.
So that's not okay. We can do that. We did not do that. That's a 5. That's a 5. I'm gonna re-roll.
Oh, you
guys,
I'm so scared.
I'm just gonna re-roll that just in just cause. Just cause.
All right.
Just cause I don't want to be kicked to death.
Spartan.
12.
All right.
That was a
So,
12.
Peach, just sort of reflexively, just kind of recalling some of your like self-defense training that you've taken, you just reach out and just sort of like an underarm kind of like block as the kick comes up. You reach out and just sort of block it with the kind of the side of your arm. And immediately, like, reflexively drop into sort of like a defensive stance, one that you've never used in hand-to-hand combat, in unarmed combat, but which in this moment you're just sort of reflexively modifying from your like fencing training that you just sort of like, as he like sort of kind of drops back into sort of another ready stance, taking that moment to just sort of. You watch as he once again just vanishes from in front of you and reappears about reappears a short distance away from the group, in between you and the now like in between you and the facility itself.
Ooh,
All
don't
right,
like that.
which I believe now brings us to Peach. It's your turn.
So I seeing that he's a little bit farther away from me now, who is he? Is he closest? Is he close to any of?
I think
He's
he is
close to-
closest now to. It's between you and Mason, like the closest to like the two of you.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of like turn and look at him, and this would have been cooler if he was right near me, but I'm just gonna say, you really don't want to hurt any of my friends. You don't want that blood on your hands. And then I'm gonna make it look like his hands are basically like like his entire suit is like completely covered in blood, and like just make it look super scary so that he is really, really terrified and like paralyzed in place. I don't have an ability for that. I'm just gonna use Awakened Dreams.
Okay. Um.
And it smells like really, really like just disgusting, like decomposed bodies, like blood, and just disgusting.
I'll make this.
It's a little gory. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's. I will make. You said that there's not really an ability that you have that does this, right?
No, I mean, I'm basically just doing like awakened dreams, like it's an illusion.
Right. Tell you what. I'd say that this would be probably an intellect 2 spend.
Okay, it's I have it. I can pull it up really quick, but yeah, that sounds. Sorry.
Actually, tell you what. Let's tell you what. We can make this.
It's a tier 1. It's the Dreamcraft tier 1 ability. It's pulling an image from a dream into the waking world and placing it somewhere within long range. So I'm just placing it like directly on him. Sorry, it was an ability. I just forgot what it was called.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Then yeah, never mind.
Alright.
In that case, yeah, let's make a roll. The difficulty on this is gonna be difficulty's gonna be 5.
Sorry, I got so nervous.
sorry,
I was
6.
like, what can I do?
Sorry,
Okay.
the difficulty's gonna be 6, not 5.
Okay. Okay. So, power shift and awakened dreams in the specific Dreamcraft ability, the summoning part. So that's 5. What else can I do here? I think that I'm gonna spend some effort. I'm gonna spend 1 level of effort because that's all I can really do at this point. And so that brings it down to 4. And I think that's all I can do. Yeah.
Okay. 12 or better.
So that's a real. It's hard when your pools are low and and yeah. Okay, so 12 or better?
12 or better.
18.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, you watch as he's just sort of like some ways away, reappeared and is now like standing in like a ready stance. You watch as he like is looking. You watch the head tilt down and then sort of double take as he looks at his hands. And you watch as the blade drops to the ground as he just like steps back, takes a couple steps backward, and just looks at himself, looks up at you, and just sort of looking all around. You can see as he something shifts in his demeanor as you suddenly see as he like Bina, I would say you can feel it. You can feel like that sort of just abject terror as he's just sort of standing there, rooted, just looking, and confusion. You can feel both of those things as he's just looking down. You can no longer.
Would it be my turn again?
Not
after
yet.
this? Okay.
Not yet. But
I just want to say I want to encourage that feeling.
You can see as he's looking down at himself, you're no longer seeing that that kind of self-assured, very confident stance that you saw before. Now you're looking at someone who, it's almost like looking at a scared child for a moment, with that the same kind of posture as he sort of squares his shoulders and kind of brings them up very slightly as he's looking around. And then you watch as the hands curl. At the top of the round, Bina, as you're standing preparing, you watch as he squares up, getting ready to move. It's not that you suddenly hear it; it's just that you suddenly become aware of it.
Aware of it.
As you hear a sound that has been gradually growing over the last few seconds, as you look up and you watch as Awakener is just swooping in. You see as it turns on its side very suddenly, like in a sharp maneuver that would have anybody inside better be strapped down because it would have just thrown them. as that like the G's alone would have like probably caused somebody to pass out or at least to black out. As you watch the ship turns, you watch as like one of the nacelles just starts scraping against the platform, and he turns and looks and immediately just starts running like towards the edge of the platform as Awakener is coming right behind him, as he leaps off the edge into just open space. As Awakener just sort of does that pass over. He just leaps into open space and just falls. Just goes into like full-on swan dive off the edge. As Awakener like swoops up and roars, engines roaring around, like doing another loop. You watch kind of looking over towards the edge of the platform, as quite some distance away, as you all kind of like standing, kind of grouping up, gathering. You watch as he sort of rises up out of the canyon, and just sort of looks in your direction. You can hear, you see as he like leans forward and then glances up as Awakener begins making another pass, and you just hear the voice, the heavily filtered voice coming through. It says, "You don't disappoint. We'll have to finish this another time." And then he just sort of like leans back and like tumbles backward down into the ravine and just.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that this is a narrative GM choice, so that's fine. I'm not going to contest it. He's moving off of his turn. My turn would have probably been next. Is there any way I could have, I felt that pang of fear and, like, whatever that was. Could I have, like, taken that and just exacerbated it in him? Just hammer that home, because he got it for a split second from Peach. I felt it and grabbed onto it. I just want to I wanted to just hammer that into him and just I don't know if I could, but I'll make it's an ability that you would just tell me what to spend to do.
I'll
for
tell you
it,
what.
But
Rather than make this a roll, just spend an XP and
done.
Yeah. Okay. You can hear that that sort of self-assured tone return to his voice as he says it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Bina can feel that he's been shaken. Through definitely through a combination of what happened as well as Bina's interference at the last second.
He was gonna shake it off. She's like, "No, you take that with you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. And even though the confidence has returned to his voice, you feel an apprehension that belies that confident tone, as you watch as around him he generates this sort of very similar to what Olem has done both with himself and with Zaya. You watch as he generates that and just rockets through the ravine, and you watch even some distance. You watch as he moving very quickly, almost as quickly as some shuttles that you've seen, as he just rockets up and just goes up, 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 and vanishes into the sky.
I want to be on the mobile terminal and just be like, "Being a little bit Awakener, what is going on? Are you okay? What's..." because they're flying around. What's happening?
There's a moment of hesitation, then you hear just sort of very crackling sound coming through. You hear Jade's voice, a little bit sleepy sounding, just going, "Yeah, we're okay. We saw that something was happening. Everything okay? Did we get him?"
I don't know. I'm assuming this is on speaker so everyone can hear.
Mm-hmm.
He's after the ship. That's why he's here. Can we have Awakener land? Can we have Awakener land, and can we debilitate him? Is that possible?
Yeah.
He's probably
Alma,
gone at
Alma,
this
can you
point.
please can we stop now?
Oh.
He's sick. He's throwing up.
Yeah.
Where is the guy gone?
Mhm.
Are they gone?
Mm-hmm. You watched as he just rocketed through the canyon and then just went.
Okay, so he wasn't heading towards the ship at all. He was just
Nope.
running away.
Yeah.
Okay.
You watch him as he at the end of the ravine, he starts going up, 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 and just vanishes into the sky.
Shucks.
The last thing I do is jump into the air and then start to hover and then move upward at a slow walking pace and kind of down a little bit and say, "Damn it."
Olem, are you gonna go get him?
let myself. I'm like,
You know, no.
not
Yeah,
today.
if
I
you're gonna
don't
do
think
it,
so.
bring this tracer thing and see if you can pin him.
Right at this moment, you hear running footsteps as you turn and you watch as many more resistance like members like fully armed come running out onto the platform, and they like rush past you and like go to like the platform and immediately like begin sort of same procedure as the previous crew as they begin like encircling the vessel and slowly and very cautiously begin searching it. um, and right on their heels, you can see Win just walking up, like a long barreled pistol in their hand as they step up, just sort of to all of you, and they say, "What the hell was that?"
I don't even think we
Something-
really know.
Something really, really bad.
That's where we're gonna go ahead and take our break.
For sure.
So, we will be right back. We'll take about 10 minutes to catch our breath and to decompress a little bit. We will be right back. Just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Bye.
Bye.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back from break. Hopefully, everybody got a chance to take some deep breaths after that fight. I know I didn't. So anyway, let's get right back into it where we left off. You were all just coming off the aftermath of this easily your most intense fight ever for
First,
any
like,
of you.
real combat that wasn't like a scuffle in an alley.
Yeah,
like...
this was. I mean, like going through and like the Baron's forces was a real fight, but it wasn't that much of a problem for all of you because they weren't prepared for you. This is the first time you found somebody who was not only prepared for you, but also like
And it was just us.
a match. Yeah, like it was just you. So, yes, just coming off of that combat, all of you. There's a few minutes as you stand around as people sort of shout around you, like shouting kind of commands and orders back and forth.
I would like to take a recovery roll.
Yeah, so like
because I couldn't take one.
yeah, as you all just sort of like not even really registering most of it, as you're all there, but as you're standing there, the wave of exhaustion begins kind of cascading over all of you, as you're standing there on the platform. In particular, Peach, you all would notice Peach starting to shake a little bit. Peach, you're feeling like your legs, they feel like jelly right now. You're just kind of like shaking, to the point where like at one point you look up and you catch Bina's eye as she's sort of looking at you with concern, and it's almost like the acknowledgement of it just makes it that much worse as suddenly like your arms actually start shaking, as you kind of like clutch them and sort of like holding them, but you're all feeling it to some degree.
Bina's gonna go walk up to Peach and just like not like draw attention to it or anything, but just like kind of like sidle up and take like two of her arms and just kind of like hold on to like wrap around Peach. Peach is so much taller than her. We just like go up and kind of like hold on to her arm, like hook both of her arms around Peach's and just kind of like as like I can hold you up if you need me to, but she won't say anything. She won't try to bring attention to it or anything while all this is happening. But she's gonna like kind of go anchor her a little bit.
He's just kind of gonna give like a small nod and like kind of basically like kind of basically place an arm kind of on. I don't know how far down you are. I was like, I want to place an arm on your hand on your shoulder, but I don't know how far Bina is.
I think she's like, I think the top of her head is just past your shoulders. I think.
Okay. So not quite, but like basically you can kind of tell that Peach is kind of in and out of reality.
How tall
like
is Peach?
6'2", like
you're 1.2 inches taller than her.
Yeah. Maybe a little taller. Like I have her height written down somewhere, but
she's tall. You're at least a foot and some change taller than her.
Yeah, Peach looks like she's kind of there and not there. Like she's very much like kind of still a little out of it.
Yeah.
How are you guys? kind of just looking around at everybody and trying to.
Oh, not bad.
That was a fight. Mason pulls out a smoke, kind of like hangs out the side of his mouth, kind of just lights it.
Oh, Bina's gonna go into. She has like a little like, basically what's like a fanny pack kind of a thing, and she's gonna go and she's gonna pull it, and she's gonna pull out this little like thing, and she's gonna be like, and hold it out to, Mason, and be like, I think this might be more useful, for you to have, and it's the loadable, fear poison, because she doesn't use guns, but if you would like it, it's a level 3 Cypher. And it's a small like vial that you load into a gun, I believe, or some sort of like
Whoa.
fireable, but it's fear poison.
Fear. Wow.
Spooky.
I don't have any specs on what it does, but I got it like in one of our first couple of episodes.
I think poison is a good fear poison. You said
it's emotion poison fear.
Mhm.
That's cool. Okay, is it like a single shot?
Yep.
Type
I believe
thing?
so. It's
Yep.
like a one, like
Cool.
you fire one. So now
It's-
3 of us are capable of making people afraid with
Yeah.
extraneous.
Oh my goodness.
It's a
Yeah,
Cypher.
but I have
so
to come up with a really elaborate story first.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It is a Cypher. So if you're already holding 2 Cyphers, you won't be able to equip this one right now. You'd have to like store it on the ship. Actually, I don't know what your Cypher limit is. Yours might be higher as an explorer. I'm not sure, but
I'll look, but
Mhm.
I already used the breath mints one earlier, and that leaves me with the one other in this one. So I think.
okay.
Yeah.
So level 3
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So-
really cool.
fear dart.
Thank you. That's cool.
You Bina hear like a beeping from your terminal as you like look down. You pull it up and you just see or you hear Jade's voice saying, "Okay, we've touched back down. And yeah, everything looks fine. We're back where we were."
Okay. We'll probably be back at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of us are. She kind of like looks around, and everybody's like, maybe a little worse for wear.
Okay. I'll
When
I'll
Oh,
tell
sorry, you guys.
I'll tell Abriel to have. Is everybody okay? Are you? Is anybody hurt?
I think we're more like most of us are more exhausted
Yeah, I don't think
than
any of
actually
you
injured, aren't we?
actually took hits. Did you? I don't think any of
don't
you actually
think
got hit.
so. Oh shit!
I mean,
that's
like-
pretty cool.
Like,
It was all our own physical exertion. is
yeah,
kind
pretty
of
much.
how-
Yeah.
Just tired, I think.
I took some intellect damage, I think I might
Right.
have been the only one that
Oh
took.
yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't even see that. I don't think.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'll maybe coffee. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
If I can
Yeah.
hear this conversation.
Yeah. It'll be on speaker. It'll be good.
Oh, perfect.
Is it like the middle of the night by
It's now it
By
would now be
reckoning
full
now?
nighttime. It was evening when this all started, but now it's
Right.
like nighttime.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bina's gonna kind of like turn away from the group just a little bit and be like, "Did dinner go over okay?"
Oh. I'm gonna have to call you back. And he's just
She's just like the little shit. She's gonna,
Yes, absolutely.
gonna have to have fucking words. She was being covert and everything.
He's like probably with her right now.
Yeah,
like-
I know.
all right. So
Or-
Words.
what are y'all doing? Currently, you are largely being ignored by everybody who's currently on the platform now.
And Win came up to talk to us, I think, right before we cut.
Yeah, they sort of just kind of had quick acknowledgement, just sort of, and then like before any actual conversation could happen, they went to like to deal with the securing the shuttle that came down, and
Are there any the folks that were like attacked by the figure at first? Are any of them still like
Oh yeah.
alive? Are they hurt? Because Peach would immediately go over to them once she.
Oh
like,
yeah. I would call in
became-
Abriel if this is something that could be helped.
yeah, you can actually see that already that they're like first order of business. They secured the shuttle, and then immediately after that, then they came out and started like assessing damage. Of the original 10 that were with you, there are 3 that are still alive, one of whom is in
Okay.
critical condition.
Okay, I'm gonna go over and try and help until Abriel can get here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send just like a quick text style message to Abriel and be like, the four of us are okay, but there are some people here who might benefit from your help. And then
Yeah,
I'm assuming she knows.
you just immediately receive and understood. Yeah. So by this point, you're all kind of just like, you're realizing that you're maybe more in the way than anything else at the moment. As you can see, like people are sort of like now streaming back and forth constantly across the platform, most of whom aren't paying much attention to you. However, there are moments as some of them pass you where there's just sort of a quick sidelong glance and then immediately looking away, as like there's just sort of
We've been seen.
you're not entirely sure what to make of some of those reactions. As most of them are like focused on their tasks as they're running back and forth. But
What do I feel?
it's not much because, like I said, like there's just these sort of momentary like flickers of emotion and then immediately refocusing back on their tasks at hand. It's hard to catch much. And quite frankly, at this point, with how tired Bina is, it's sort of like at the end of a long day when you just get that that just like where you basically just like that overstimulation to the point where you just like are feeling nothing, just that kind of numbness that comes with exhaustion. So for you, it's more.
She did. My recovery roll was max, which was nice because that would have been great in combat. But
Yeah.
So she's recovering, I think, pretty quick. But it's still, she's still tired.
Yeah, it's less of like an actual exhaustion and more just mental.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was just sort of like you've been mentally taxed for a while, and now everything is just noise.
Yeah.
But eventually, Abriel does make her way to the platform, sort of like skirting past a couple of people as they rush by, just clutching like the med kit as she runs over to all of you, and she says, "You're all unharmed." Okay.
Just tired, but some folks over there.
Yeah, I'll get over there. You all need to sleep, or at least get some rest of some kind. She kind of glances over her shoulder back towards the end of the platform where you can still see Wynn is directing things over there. She turns back to you and just says, "I don't care what they want you to do next. You need to rest." And I'm a doctor, so there. And she just turns and starts walking back down the platform.
Doctor's orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could take a coffee and a nap.
Let's get back to the ship then.
If Abriel hasn't like yelled at her to go back to the ship, Peach is there helping the people as best she can. Unless Abriel comes over while Peach is helping the people.
Yeah,
her
that's
and
kind
yells
of
at her, but...
that's kind of where we're going next. Is like Peach a little ways away from everybody, like on the actual platform, helping to like, kind of at first helping those who are slightly less injured. The two survivors that are hurt pretty badly, but they'll make, even from an untrained eye, like they'll make a recovery.
Yeah, I have some medicine training. Like I'm trained, I'm not specialized or anything, so I would be able to like probably patch some stuff up, but I wouldn't be able to do much more than that.
So like while you're kind of there working, and Abriel just sort of puts a gentle but firm hand on your shoulder and just sort of pushes you aside and just says, "All right, what have you got?" And you just kind of confer for the next couple of minutes. After a moment, sort of getting like the facts from you, she kind of sits back on her legs and she says, she like looks to one of the or a couple of the resistance who are nearby, and she says, "Okay, he's safe to move, but careful. Ready? I'll let you take care of that." And she turns back to you, Peach, and she just sort of looks you in the eye and she just says, "I know you want to help, but you're going to be of no help to anybody if you collapse. And you look like you're about to."
I'll leave this to you for right now.
she just sort of straightens up, kind of straightens her coat, and says, "I said carefully," and she just turns and just goes back, kind of turns her back to you. She kind of gives one last glance over her shoulder and just gives you a nod, Peach, and then just goes back to kind of reprimanding the two who are lifting the injured individual.
Yeah. Peach is just gonna. I'm just gonna make my way slowly back to the ship. I don't know how she managed to patch up anyone. Her hands are probably shaking so bad.
Yeah, it's especially like
Probably messy.
especially like a little bit behind the rest of the group as you kind of make your way there. Just kind of there's a moment as the boarding ramp to Awakener lowers and you begin making your way up. Peach, you take just a second at the top of the ramp as you just sort of lean up against the bulkhead. The rest of the group up ahead of you. You just sort of take a moment and you just feel sort of a dizziness kind of come over you. Just at this point, you're not sure what's exhaustion and what is lingering effects of what you experienced, but the end result is the same as you just sort of sway for a moment, kind of catching yourself, and you just sort of one breath, two breaths, and then you're able to kind of push off steadily from the bulkhead and follow the rest as behind you the ramp closes. The rest of you, as you're just sort of moving up ahead, you make your way to the galley where you see Jade is already kind of setting out like several cups of several steaming cups as he sets them on the table. And he looks up. He says, he kind of hesitates for a moment, like he doesn't really know what to do with himself, and then he just goes over and just immediately hugs Bina.
Oh,
He just hugs you.
The first time she probably wasn't. She was probably zoned out a little bit. The first hug from him that she was not expecting it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, and then she gets all four arms into it.
Yeah, and then he kind of goes, looks back at the rest of you, and then just kind of stares down awkwardly, and then he says, "Oh, I got coffee. It's there on the table."
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. He says,
Thanks.
yeah. You can suddenly, Bina, for the first time, you feel like these sudden anxiety and concern.
Yep.
As he looks at you, his face very serious. He says, so, kind of leans in close to you, Bina, and he just says, she's in the medical bay right now. I wasn't able to get to her before Alma took off, and I kind of passed out a little bit from the G's, and when I came to, I'd completely forgotten, and she's hurt, not bad, but Abriel already looked at her, but yeah. While he's saying this quietly to Bina, like all of you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it. He's
Oh,
not
okay, we're like there.
yeah. Yeah.
We're turned just a little bit to the side, but you can still hear the full conversation. Okay.
Who are we talking about?
And Vina's just gonna be like,
Okay.
1 second. And then turn back to Jade and be like, okay. Well, we're all looking forward to meeting her when she wakes up. I think you might also need a nap, or at least a good lie down. You still look a little bit green. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And he just kind
Unless you wanted coffee, you can have coffee too if you want.
no. My stomach, I don't.
Okay, go lay down.
He just
Go
kind of
take a nap.
points, looks at the rest of you, and just points to the table, sort of vaguely, and just coffee, and then he walks out of the room.
Bina's gonna sit down and pour herself a cup of coffee, and sit at the head of the table, and all four hands on the cup, and be like, So it has come to my attention
Uh-huh.
very recently. I have not been withholding information. A lot has happened in the past 45 minutes. That we have a stowaway.
Okay.
I intended to meet her after dinner, and then this happened. And she's just kind of like point out towards the door, like that whole thing. I guess in the cool stunts that were pulled to come scare our bounty hunter-esque friend away, our stowaway got injured, so she is in medbay. So we will all probably have to meet her at some point. Jade vouches for her. I have no reason to believe she is anything other than harmless, but you should all be aware of this. I was not withholding information on purpose. And then she's just like,
How long has she been on the ship?
probably Sulon is what it sounded like.
Whoa! Wow. Okay. All right. Who
I
is
think
she?
she's been in Alma's blind spots. There are a few places in the ship that Alma can't see, and it sounds like that's where she's been hiding out. And Jade's been kind of looking out for her. I guess she's kind of spooked. And I was gonna go meet her and then try to get her out of the maintenance ducts and maybe a bed and a meal with us, but that did not happen. Instead, we had to go fight a dude, so that was fun. So that might be put on hold a little bit, but at least she's no longer in the maintenance ways.
Nope.
Yeah, that's probably an improvement.
But otherwise, I don't know anything about her.
Well, like you
I
said,
don't even think Jade didn't even say her name when we talked last.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, don't know anything about her.
it's a little unsettling that somebody could be in here right under all of our noses and we didn't know it. But
I wonder if it's an act or if she actually is really scared.
Oh,
Well, we'll find out when when I talk to her.
we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, whenever that is. Not right now, of course.
Nope, coffee time. And then Bina's gonna start
Coffee,
pouring cups
huh.
for people.
Poor Mason.
She's got
pulls out
three
his
cups
flask.
and 3 arms and one in the kettle in one arm, and she's gonna pour everyone's and then pass them out.
Yeah. At some point, as you're all sitting there, you just see. You just suddenly become aware that Alma is there.
Yep.
As you look over, she's just occupying one of the seats, just staring very intently at all of you. Just sort of looking between all of you, just very intently.
I told you could fly. That was pretty sick.
Are you okay?
You good?
Are you okay?
Yes. I think so, for the most part. Are you okay?
What was that?
I don't know.
Nothing good.
Peach, did you say, like, Vina's like this remembered, like, did you say he was after Awakener? I think you said it, like, as he was flying away.
Yeah, when I reached into his mind, I saw that it was somehow part of his plan. I think that I don't know if he was hired by Silverbreaker or if he just had his own agenda, but he seemed like he really was interested in the Awakener. I think that someone might want their property back and not just us.
What am I getting from Alma through this revelation?
It's a mix of things.
Yep.
But the strongest emotion amongst them is just anger.
Oh, as soon as she feels that, if she's sitting next to Bina, Bina's gonna like grab her hand, either like if it's like on her like under the table or on the table, wherever her hand is, Bina's gonna like grab onto her.
She just sort of turns and looks at you as you do that.
from what I could tell, he was kind of like us, but more maybe. He was he himself could have been Silverbreak property.
Probably. I mean, what we heard from Wire and Zaya is that they would they put people through that whole process, and after where we were, you become like vessel for them. I think you kind of just like do what they say. We didn't make it to that stage. I would assume that if he's trying to get what he considers Silverbreak property back, that he works for Silverbreak and that he is one of their further along.
Even when I was like, even when I was deep into his different dreams, everything I saw, it was super unusual. It was like his mind was unlike anything I'd seen. I don't. Yeah, so Silverbrick has definitely fucked with him. I don't know if he still had his mask on, even in his dreams.
Oh, we should tell Win that Silverbreak probably knows we're here. Because I don't think that bodes well for any of them.
I'll shoot off a quick text.
It's possible that maybe like, is it possible that the corporate side, like the less nefarious side of Silverbreak, might still want like the minerals from the planet? Like,
I don't know.
like they might not all, like the people who do the harvesting of minerals from places might not be in connection with the people who are doing the super secret superpower mutation things, hopefully.
Well, we can't let him have Awakener. And then she looks at Almond's like, unless you want to go, I guess.
We have to run right now.
Right. Oh boy. Okay. Don't want to go back to Silverbreak. Good to know. Just wanted to double check that. Where will we even go?
Anywhere not here. We have to go. And at that, you actually hear and feel like the Awakener's engines start to like come up, like as you can feel the ship starting to come awake around you.
We should let Win know that we
gotta tie up some stuff first.
Wait a minute! This guy just came here and killed 7 people before we could do anything, and
I know. We can't.
If we leave here, these people don't have a chance.
Ideally, if we leave here, you won't come back here.
There's a pop and like sudden sparking as you watch as like one of the lights overhead just explodes. And Bina, you can feel that anger giving way to just abject panic.
We will get out of here as soon as possible.
I want to kind of like, I don't know if I've ever tried to help her before with her emotions. Maybe I did, but like I want to kind of give her like a grounding, something grounding that I'm not going to make her feel it, but I'm going to like kind of like extend a grounded feeling that she can attach to if she would like to.
Mm-hmm. You begin doing that, and she immediately, her eyes snap to you. She says, "Stop that." She says, "We can't stay. We have to go. We have to go."
We will. Okay.
She just sort of fades.
She might know more about whoever that thing was. Probably knows more. That's why she wants to go.
Well, if we're leaving now, the least we can do is let Win know, and then I will start to prepare a message to send to Win, like as apologetic, but like we gotta leave. And I like look, I'm like, oh wait, Abriel's out there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
GM question. When Peach scared him like with the blood on the hands, was his reaction like just pure fear? Was it like was it just like a kind of a fear response, or did he seem like he had some kind of like emotional response, like a moment of like regret or like I basically was trying to gauge how far gone he was, like how if he had any kind of sense of like right or wrong, and I was wondering if like in that moment it was anything outside of fear or if it was just that. I don't know if I would know that exactly, but
You know,
just from his
well,
expression.
that question is exactly what an insight spend is for. So if you want to, you can go ahead and spend 3 intellect, and I will tell you.
I only have 2 points of intellect left.
You could
so
probably. Are there recovery rules?
There's
Is it?
the next one is 10 minutes, so which you would have had.
we've been sitting for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
at least,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. That's
Okay.
what I was about to say.
Okay, cool. But I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm gonna take my second recovery roll.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I think I'm pretty good. I have a thing that I can use for this for healing.
Mason has an extra one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a little bit better. Okay. So then, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spin that.
Okay. In the wake of, in that moment, things were moving quickly. They were happening very fast. Immediately after you did that, Awakener came and essentially edged him off the platform. And but now that you've had some time away from it, some time, and are no longer completely having your brain muddled by the post-combat exhaustion, you're able to sort of think back to that moment and picture it. The thing that strikes you is that his body language, it was body language of fear, but there was definitely something more to it, and the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. But as you're thinking about it, it was like it wasn't just fear, but it was horror. You're not sure. It doesn't something beyond just purely fear, but the kind of reaction that you saw in him is the kind of reaction that you see from somebody who cannot believe what they've done.
That's what I kind of thought. Okay.
It was just for an instant. It didn't last long. There was just sort of a moment of it. It was like seeing through a gap in the curtains.
Okay. I think if we run into some more of these people, we're gonna have to be really, really careful.
We have to call Wire.
Absolutely.
Peach, what do you mean careful? Just they're dangerous, right? Or do we have to be careful with them, do you mean?
I think that, like, I don't know if we can do this, but for a second when we were with that person, that thing, I mean, I felt like that could have been one of us. I was staring at him, looking at him, and just thinking that it could have been any of us standing there.
I mean, likely anyone we encounter, like us, who works for Silverbreak, is just one step past where we were. They were somebody else before. Probably.
It seems highly likely that there's some form of, I think, some form of brainwash as part of the final cycle.
So
For a second, I think he snapped out of it.
Right.
Is that what I would have felt? Would I recognize what she's talking about, or not?
I would
It would
say that
feel different.
it wasn't necessarily something that you would have picked up on at the moment,
Okay.
but at that moment, but hearing Peach say it, it's sort of
Rings a
it
bell.
kind of rings a little bit. It rings true to Bina a little.
Mm.
It was a chaotic moment, and there were a lot of things
Yes.
happening very quickly.
Yes.
But it makes a certain kind of sense given what you saw.
Mhm.
So, being careful, proceeding forward with this, do we want to try to exercise less lethal methods? Like, perhaps we could change their mind if there's an opportunity given.
I don't
I
know.
don't know if
He was really strong-minded.
I
Couldn't
don't
get
think
through.
it's change. I don't think it would be if this is what's really happening. It wouldn't be changing their mind. It would be bringing them back.
Yeah.
Again, if that's really the case. I don't know.
Right.
Mason,
Yes.
do you? I was wondering if any notes from the case that I hired you for would be related to this at all.
Let me find out.
So,
Do we have any people who make gifts? Because police make gifts from that.
that was amazing. But basically, I just if the case if so basically what I wanted to okay, no, we're just gonna have this conversation in character. Okay. So the trail I sent you on was the trail of the exact thing that happened to us. I mean, I sent you after the disappearing person, Silver Break, very similar. And I wonder if any of the notes that you have from that would be able to help. Do you think?
I could look. I mean, I recall that there were a lot of missing people, a lot of missing persons. Some of them were just circumstantial. Some of them were a little bizarre. And Mason would like to look through his notes to see if there's anything that he recalls from his investigation into this back in the before.
Yeah, I mean,
In the prologue.
I mean, that's pretty much what you got is that you started to sense more than actually find evidence for a pattern. It was something that was just on the edge of like you felt as you were looking through and investigating these first the disappearance you were hired to investigate, but second as that one led you to yet more, you started to sense like there was something just at the edge of that you were just on the edge of a piece of understanding or a discovery that you were that close to understanding, to getting to, that there was something there, that instinct that you as an investigator had, that that you were following the smoke. But you moved on a Silver Break facility before you were able to get much further than that. Most of what you have in your notes is the same stuff that you just mentioned, is the stuff about like various disappearances. Most of them were people that likely would not have been missed. There were a few people that were a little bit higher profile, but those were people like people who got involved in programs, special programs with Silver Break and some of their subsidiaries. Yeah, that those were mostly like kind of the notes that you got through. And right now, as Mason is paging through his notes, you're feeling that same frustration from before, because what you're realizing as you're going back through your notes, as you've done many times since, is that you're looking at a puzzle, and right now you only have some of the pieces.
So, I mean, I was really close. Probably would have been onto something, but I got too close and they gassed me. Then I woke up on that ship. It was accelerating towards the planet with you guys. I feel like I'm really close.
I would just really hate to find out that person behind the mask was someone that I knew.
I understand.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Bina's gonna also stand up and be like, "No one except for Abril is allowed in the med bay right now." Okay, thank you, bye. And she's gonna turn around and go to the bridge.
Roger that.
Yeah.
Everybody else try and get some sleep too.
I'll take
Bina's
a nap.
walking to the bridge.
Mason's gonna go up to the upper parts of the deck. Upper decks. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like the observation platform is the
Observation.
yeah,
Yes.
the observation deck is the uppermost deck of the
That's
ship.
absolutely where Mason's going.
Mhm.
With his little more coffee and
As everybody is leaving, Olem, you find yourself after a moment, one by one, as your companions leave, just sort of sitting there, just still holding that cup, just sort of looking down at it. You hear sort of a very soft clanking as you look up, and you can see, standing in the doorway of the galley, you can see Patch, who's just stopped at the doorway and is just watching you.
Hi, Patch.
I was watching the fight. I saw some of it over security feeds.
Yeah, that was a doozy, wasn't it?
You face many dangerous adversaries. This one in particular.
Sorry, Lucas.
We can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
really?
spoke up. Oh, now I can.
now we can. Yeah, it was just a moment.
That was weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I missed after I said it's
What?
a dude.
Yeah.
That's what Patch said.
It says you face many dangerous adversaries. This one in particular.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't really stop him from hurting a bunch of people, and we couldn't catch him before he left. We just sort of scraped by on that one, I think.
I would agree. I was watching, studying his tactics.
What do you think about him?
He is well trained. And I have questions. These abilities that you and your companions exhibit, are they typical of those that are like you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say. Let's just be clear. We're talking about the same thing here. So I can move objects around. I can do gravity things. That's not normal. I can jog, kinda. I can physically manipulate things. I like toss something up and down. That's normal.
Olem, I understand the difference between what organics are capable of and what you are capable of.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
He has access to the internet. No,
My
he knows things, or they know things.
my apologies.
I am asking if these abilities are typical amongst those who are like you and your companions aboard this ship. Because if they are not, if these abilities are unique, then you are dealing with someone who is capable of mimicry.
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know. I know that others have similar powers. I haven't seen anybody.
You've seen Zaya.
Yeah, Zaya's different. No, everything he did, we could do. Right? He flew faster. Huh.
And yet, I have seen you leave the ground on many occasions. It is likely that not only is he capable of mimicry, but also of advanced forms of your own abilities.
Okay. Oh, that is an astute observation and a terrible thought. Thank you, Patch. Oh gosh. Okay.
You are welcome, Olem. You see, as they are just sort of standing, like still standing in the doorway, they just continue on down the corridor.
I love them.
I love him
I'm
so
like-
much.
I'm like, okay, Mason, Bina, Mason. I run off to tell whoever I can find first what Patch told me.
Yeah. As you're rushing out into the corridor, you almost run into Abriel, who's like coming around the corner. She's whoa, taking my advice about resting. I see.
Yeah, almost. Oh, sorry. You done out there for now?
I did what I could. He'll live.
Good. We might not be staying here for too much longer. Sorry. Thanks. And I just kind of like try to move past her to.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to the bridge.
Yeah. Just sort of leaving her kind of standing in the hallway, just sort of staring after you as she just sort of glances. Olem wouldn't see this, but like behind you, as she's kind of like glances into the galley, notices like a cup of coffee that is still mostly full. She just walks over to it and grabs it and just sets it down and then makes her way to the med bay. Yeah, Olem, you kind of spill out onto the. Actually, before we get there, we're gonna go to Bina first, who arrived there a few minutes before. So Bina, you sort of settle into the cockpit and start like kind of going through just.
So her intention for going up here is she kind of just beelines and sits in the pilot's chair and just kind of like cross-legged and is just gonna kind of like sit, and she's just gonna start like talking to Alma, whether or not she is making an appearance. She knows she can hear her.
I was just gonna say like that. I imagine at this point, by this point, it's sort of one of Bina's comfort rituals to just sort of whenever anytime she enters the cockpit, she just immediately pulls up diagnostics. Just starts.
Oh yeah, it's just going. It's
checks.
running. 100%.
Sort of like a comfort ritual that you just sort of sit down.
Opening Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Updating the timeline real quick.
Yeah.
It's like an easy brainless thing that she knows how to do and is easy. She's been doing for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, diagnostics are up. And she's just gonna kind of like settle in and be like, okay, so I know you're really scared and I really want to help you and you don't have to talk to me right now, but I wanna be able to help you, but I gotta know what you're thinking and what's up. And it's okay to be scared because all this is really scary. But like if you know something that might help you, that would be really cool. And like I said, you don't have to talk to me right now. You can talk to me in like a week about this. I know you probably don't want to talk right now. And she's just like not a bunch of like half thoughts and like but and like kind of things repeating themselves but in different ways over and over, and that essentially amount to that.
Mm-hmm.
That is just, I know you're scared, like I know you're scared, I want to talk to you, but only when you're ready. And I like just that over and over again.
Yeah.
While she's like kind of skimming through diagnostics.
Yeah. There's one point where in your kind of, you're just sort of litany of comfort as where you just sort of pause for a moment to think about what to say next, and you kind of glance over, and glance around the cockpit, and you don't see anything. Nothing on any of the screens has changed. It's silent. About a minute after that, you hear Olem's footsteps, sort of hurriedly, but not like running footsteps, coming sort of into the towards the bridge. You just hear as he starts kind of calling out, and you just like swivel around. Olem, as you step onto the bridge, as you see Bina swivel around to face you.
Hey,
Hello, welcome to the bridge. How can I help you?
thanks. Patch thinks that that guy was mimicking our powers and maybe sending them back at us even stronger.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
That's
I'm
a
not
new
exactly
one.
sure what we do with that right now, but it seems
Yeah.
like it'll be important.
I mean, we haven't seen very many powers yet, but there's a new one. Add that to the list. We should make like a list of powers we know and have and encountered. We still have to call
Right.
Wire.
Mason may already have that list partially compiled.
That's probably very true. Yeah.
Talk to him. I had to
Mhm.
make sure that I'll go find him and make sure that he knows. But you're right. Why should we call her now?
Maybe it should be an everyone is here
Yeah.
kind of a thing. I also was because she's not. I don't know if she's going to be too pleased about what we've got ourselves into. But also, I feel like we should see if she would be able to do a favor for the colony now for the rebels. Maybe. I don't know
Right.
if she's gonna like us coming to her with info she doesn't want to hear, and then also asking her for something. But I don't know if it would even be possible for her to find. I don't know. They put out propaganda about us. I mean, maybe we could put out propaganda about them. We could find a way to make the colony look good, to bring attention to what they've done here, and maybe get them more support. Because the only way they're going to get more support is if people know about what they've done here. And I don't know if that's something Wire's capable of, but maybe. And I don't know if she'd even do it, like I said. But
It's just getting more complicated.
I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So I've
I
just kind of
know.
embraced at this point.
I know. But I like sit down and like
Yeah.
in the chair closest to Bina. I'm like,
You can sit in the co-pilot seat or something if you want.
I don't even. Yeah, I'm picturing me sitting. If it spins, I sit in it backward. And
Yep,
put my
and
arms on top of
spin.
that. Yeah, like I like kind of look around the room. Like I don't even know if we should be lingering here right now. You know Alma better than I do, but I've never seen her anything like that. Whatever, why ever she feels like that, she's our ride kind of. If she doesn't want to be here, we're putting
Yeah.
her. I don't. Whether we stay or go, we're putting a lot of people in danger. I guess that's it.
Yeah. Bina kind of like faces away. She's like, I want to talk to you about where you want to go at some point, too. It doesn't have to be right now, but at some point. But yeah, we should probably work on that. Bina, I think, is talking to Bina about Alma is like probably really weird because she's very aware that Alma can probably hear you most of the time.
Right.
So she's like, don't talk about her like she's not here because she's like
Well,
always here. So
I know she's here. I just can't manifest her.
I
so-
know. So so I think talking like it'll be like a third person, but then when Bina has a chance in the conversation, it's like, and then you like,
Yeah.
like. So yeah, very much. Talking with Bina is probably so disjointed, like 90% of the time. But yeah, so I don't know where we gotta go, but I have a feeling it sounded like if Awakener and possibly Alma were his target, that he knew we were here, so he probably wouldn't. I mean, if he shows up here, he's looking for us. If we're not here, he's gonna leave because none of this. It didn't seem like any of this mattered. He wasn't trying to take back the colony or the whatever. Is this a colony? Was this a colony? What was this? I keep using the wrong words.
It is. It's a mining colony basically. But
yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the mining operation. It probably wasn't even about us. It was about the ship and again maybe Alma. So if we're not here, I don't think they'll pay too much mind
I don't, and what's more, I would imagine that Silverbreak doesn't want to share the part of the story here that involves him and us. If we can excise ourselves and him from this whole situation, Win might have a better chance of hanging on, at least
Yeah,
here.
that made me nervous. Now that if he's attached to Silverbreak, that means Silverbreak knows we're here, which does not look too good for the fight for
Right.
the fighters.
But if, yeah, I think it may be true that the sooner we can get out of the picture here, the better off these people will be. Because even if Silverbreak knows we're here now, like I said, that our part of the story involves him, whoever he is, and his slaughter here. And if they can keep that part off of the news screens, then they probably will.
Yeah, I think when you talk to Win, fill them in on everything that's happening and why we have to go, because we kind of committed a little bit to this, but hopefully we've given them a foothold. We need to talk to Wire, and we need to figure out where we're going. And I think that's our next play.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, do we sleep now, like Abriel wants, or do we get everybody in here and call Wire?
I think we get a nap, and then we call Wire.
Okay, good. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but I am asleep on my feet.
I don't think we can afford a full night, but
Yeah,
just a
a
quick
little
rest.
nap. Okay,
And we'll round everybody up.
all right.
Okay.
Hey, you did good in that fight, Bina, I think.
You a heavy hitter, huh? Look at you.
Well, it felt like heavy hits, but he was still jetting around like a gnat or something. I don't know. We all did. We did.
We did good.
We did. We just.
It was just weird.
I just wish we could have moved a little quicker at the start.
I mean, we're still getting used to all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We'll get there. It'll be fine.
Right. I'm gonna take a nap.
You do that.
Yeah.
And Vina's gonna kind of like spin back in the pilot's chair with no intention of leaving anytime soon.
I awkwardly get out of the chair and go to my.
All right.
Excuse me. Go take a nap.
Mason, in the observation on the observation deck, what are you doing?
Oh, I am kind of just pacing a lot, and I kind of am just like sipping on my coffee. Does this ship have vent systems? Could I like smoke inside?
Yeah, I mean there would be.
Oh my god.
Vina would kick your ass if she found out, but you
Yeah.
can definitely.
Yeah.
You
You
probably
can almost cigarette, almost smoking with you too.
Yeah, there's
Secondhand
definitely
smoke.
there's definitely like
holographic.
yeah, there's definitely environmental controls that can
Yes,
handle
I
that kind of
figured.
thing. Yeah.
It's like a
Good.
spray booth, like in an art
Yes.
building. Like you go sit in the spray
Yeah.
booth.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Aerosols.
level 10 Cypher.
Yeah.
Mason's just kind of just pace around and like flip through his notebook, seeing all the stuff that he still has been like looking over all the time. But now he's gonna draw it up on the. He's gonna be the crazy guy in the room with the diagram that he's writing like on the wall,
Yes.
on the actual
Like corkboard.
Red
Yeah.
string. Yeah.
yeah, with minus the string maybe, but like a piece of chalk or something if he has that, and then just kind of like make like a huge.
You could probably even bring up like there's holographic emitters everywhere in the ship. You could probably make your own like hollow board
And I'll do that too.
that
Yeah,
you could just like
absolutely.
pocket where and take with you, like whatever, and then you just
Yeah.
pull it up when you want to use
Just
it.
kinda like
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Like right now, the observation room, the observation deck, just like the walls are plastered with these with these holographic displays where Mason has basically just been writing, and like wherever you you run out of room, you just bring up another one and start writing there too. You start on some of them, it's just sort of a mishmash of files like that.
Digitize your notes to like pin to it and like.
Yeah, just sort of glancing around at all of them. At a certain point, you just sort of step back and just sort of look at all of them. At which point you realize that you got so involved that you didn't even hear anybody come in. But as you're standing there stepping back, you glance over and you just see Abriel, who's just standing there looking at all of this. She says, "This is a monument to crazy people. This is what crazy people do." It's just
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit uncool of me to say that as a medical professional, but in my medically professional opinion, what is all of this?
Uh, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah. Well,
I've been on this for a while. I've been working at this even before I woke up in that pod from cryo sleep.
Hmm.
With random abilities, I mean, I'd like to just for flavor, like Mason probably didn't like fully heal, but he has like a little cut maybe, and he just like.
yeah.
I've been working this for a lot, but it's always been my job, so it feels like second nature. It's just weird.
Well, don't mind me. Don't let me interrupt you. I just come up here while all of you are sleeping, sometimes just to sit.
It's no problem at all.
She
Should probably take a moment myself.
at that point you notice as she holds up what she's holding, where she's got like basically a bottle of what is basically like it's essentially like it's not whiskey exactly, but it is essentially like an Anzalonian equivalent. As she holds up a
Yeah.
bottle of it, and she says, "Well, if you're taking a break."
Now you're speaking my kind of language.
And she sort of goes over to one of the seats, settles down, and you see as she reaches underneath the seat and hits a button, and you watch as part of the back of one of the seats folds down, to just sort of like a surface, and she sets it there as well as like the two tumblers that she's holding, and she just starts pouring, and she pushes one towards you, takes the other. She holds out the glass and just clinks.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
It's really the only thing I can drink anymore. It's sort of spoils you on everything else. Well, it did me anyway. So, you really think there's answers in there and all that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always trust my gut.
Yeah.
My gut's gotten me, well, it doesn't look so good, but my gut's actually almost got me very close to solving one of the biggest cases when I was I was in the regulators.
Oh yeah. I think I remember you mentioning something about that.
Yeah. I worked in the regulators for the regulators as in the investigative branch.
Didn't even know they had one of those.
Yeah. Well, it's used mainly for kind of as a safeguard for their own. If anything seems out of place, they have our special unit investigate stuff on the inside, make sure everything is, copacetic. And I had all the facts. I had everything. I had the proof. I just pissed off the wrong higher up.
Yeah. What's that like? Just...
Yeah. Well, it looks like you lose that you get suspended. Well, I didn't stop. I was suspended, but I kept going. That's when I got completely disowned. Said I was crazy.
So they just toss you to the wayside? Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, people those with more power, they can do that. And that's why I'm so focused on this. This is another one of those things, but it's even grander.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, if the answer to all that is in here somewhere, I imagine there's probably nobody better than you to find it.
We actually have to add a few more things to it. This new entity, this threat that we came in contact with. That's more stuff I need to make sure I make a note of.
Yeah. Actually, I think I did find something you're missing.
Yeah.
And she says, it's actually at the bottom of this bottle, and I'm going to pour you another one. And she just
Yeah,
pours.
thanks.
And we'll
Appreciate
I
you.
love her.
I love April.
we're going to, unless anybody has anything else that they want to do right before sleeping. Nope.
Bina does not sleep.
Fair enough.
I stand watch.
Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and cut to, as everybody is sort of is gathered. You
Like we only let everyone nap for like an hour or two. It was
Fair
not
enough.
like a full night. Just yes, make sure that is important to know.
Rest the eyes.
well, as it turns
We
out,
filled
1 hour is exactly what most people's next recovery roll is. So if you want to make
nice.
it, go for it.
Yay!
I think me and Olem fill everyone in on our conversation
Okay.
and the ideas and conclusions that we've made. And that is Bina gives her itinerary,
So
which is 3 items.
so if you want, what we can do, unless anybody has any like specific objections to this, we can cut directly to that conversation with Win.
Do we want to talk to Win first, or do we want to talk to Wire first? That's to the
Right.
proposing to the group.
Probably Wire first, right? Because then we know what to tell Win.
Fair, yeah. Okay, good.
Right. If we have,
All right.
if there's anything Wire can help win with.
And then
Okay.
maybe Wire can help give us a new destination. That would take off our last thing on our list of things we need to do.
It's not the thing I want to do most, but it is the thing we should do first.
Yeah.
Should we go back and get the weapons at some point?
Oh gosh.
No, absolutely not. Where
No,
he is
yeah.
never seeing us again.
No. We yeah.
We figured out what happened, and the people, the weapon shipment people got let free. I think so. Our job's done. The weapons
True.
changed hands. It's not our responsibility.
Exactly.
Okay. Well then, we can.
We call Wire.
Yeah. Then we can go ahead and cut to. So what do you tell Wire? Like, just tell me in broad terms what you do and do not tell her.
Bina would probably want to tell her everything, so it's up to you guys whether or not you let Bina talk.
I think Peach would try and kind of phrase it as like we were investigating for the mission, like for our larger mission, and decided that ultimately this was the best way to kind of start at it, and not leave in everything. Honestly, I think we should touch.
I think Bina would
on-
start with, so we've been conscripted by freedom fighters. That's probably would have been Bina's starting point. I don't think she didn't give a shit about anything that happened before that. She's like, I don't think Wire will care. Bina's like, if we start here, and then she can ask us questions and backtrack if we need to, but that's kind of what Bina's that would be.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Start there. Yeah.
All right. So by the end of it all, Wire's just sort of watching all of you. Like you can see, like her face is up on the display as she just sort of looks up. She says,
And he flew into the sky. I've never seen anyone do that with a ship before. It was really weird. But yeah, we gotta go.
"Okay, that's a lot to process."
Uh-huh. Hi, how are you?
Unclear.
Fair.
So let me get this straight. I tell you to lay low and help where you can, and instead of doing that, you do exactly the opposite.
It wasn't on purpose, to be fair, but yes, that's correct.
Well, I'm glad you told me because I actually already knew, and it makes this a lot less awkward of a conversation, I think, than it would have been otherwise. You, the Silverbreak channels have been lit up since a couple of hours ago.
Oh, they've been talking about us. So sweet.
Yeah, they have been. And I'm okay. Can't change what happened, so we'll move forward from here. So, what's your next plan? What's your next course of action?
We gotta go.
I agree. That makes sense.
And we were hoping that maybe you might have some insight on a destination or course of action. Because I think in all of our minds, we were planning on camping out here for a while because we thought that no one had seen us, but that is clearly not the case. So,
Well, I followed up on some of the leads that I mentioned to you I had before, and I think I managed to track down the archaeologist. That's one Professor Alessander Tenoris. He's well, I don't know him personally, but I've corresponded with him through various aliases before. Um, he's something of a he's a little bit on the outs with his department, with his field. Turns out studying ancient and unproven alien species tends to do that in the academic world. So last I heard, he had packed up his lab towards the Commonwealth Core and shipped out somewhere. I finally managed to track him down. He's heading towards. He's apparently set up some sort of field research lab on a planet in the border worlds. I'll send you the coordinates. He might be somebody to talk to about. Can't do much if we don't know what Silverbreak is after. We don't know anything about their end game. Hell, we don't even know about their short-term plans. So the more we can learn about that, the
one
better.
short term, they want this ship,
Yeah.
and we're in the way of that.
That doesn't surprise me.
Or Alma. I don't actually know which of it is that in particular, or if it's just the whole kit and caboodle. But
Right. I'm sorry. Who?
oh, I thought she knew about Alma.
I don't think you said anything about her.
No.
Oh, the has Alma ever self-described as AI?
Yeah, that's
like-
she has. Given that that's her best guess as to what she is.
Okay, I don't want to be like,
Mhm.
oh, she doesn't think she is, so I wouldn't want to. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm just assuming she's the thing. Okay, so she's the AI in the ship who actually is the one who saved us. We found out later.
Huh. That actually makes sense.
She stopped the full shutdown of all of the pods in the ship.
That makes sense, actually. I've been trying to figure out what it was that stopped you from the failsafes, from falling victim to the failsafes, and that would make sense if there was some other localized intelligence, artificial intelligence, working from the other end. Yeah, that would make sense.
She was on board too. Awakener was the only ship in the docking bay when we were trying to get out.
Okay, well, that aside, I agree. Your best course of action right now is to get as far away from there as you can. Not just because Silverbreak knows, but because anybody that they know that you've had contact with, as long as you're there, you're putting those people in danger.
Yeah.
Best thing for you to do right now is to get far, far away from all of this, and I think the border worlds are a great place to do that.
I think during our rundown, Bina would have propositioned the "Can you do anything to help these freedom fighters
Yeah.
we've grown attached to?" and floated that, and I don't know what her reaction to that would have been.
I'll reach out to their leader. Win, you said?
Mhm.
It's not much, but it's something, and all right. If there's nothing else, I've got some work to do. Especially if you're going to keep dropping lost causes on my front door.
We're really good at that.
I've noticed.
Hey, no cause is really ever lost when you think about it.
Think of them as new allies. How about that? Huh?
We'll see.
Okay.
And the communication cuts out.
I think she likes us.
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse.
Okay, we gotta go talk to Win.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and just cut right to that. As you're sort of standing in the command center, and Wynn's kind of just been listening, and they nod at the end. They say, "Well, I'm not. I can't say I'm happy to see you go, but I'm honestly not that surprised."
We did say that if they knew we were here, it would be bad news. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been contacted by them yet, which I'm not sure yet if that's good news or bad news, but I guess we'll see. And if your friend is going to reach out, then we could use whatever help we can get.
Hey, Win, you can give me a call anytime.
Yeah. And don't take this the wrong way, but I'm really hoping I won't need to.
Me too.
Well, after everything that you've done, the least I could do is give you what you came out all this way for. And they turn and nod, and one of the individuals kind of working in the control room just says, "Right away," and exits. And Wynn says, "I figured. Well, we don't need all of the weapons that we took."
Might come in handy.
And I might have thrown in something a little bit extra, something from
Oh.
one of Baron Peak's personal investments.
Oh, Wayne, you didn't have to do that.
Trust
I'm
me.
excited to put it to use in a way that would probably upset him greatly.
Honestly, just you having it, really anybody but him having it, I think is upsetting enough to him, which is enough to put a smile on my face. So, oh yeah, what?
We're starting to acquire quite the collection of expensive high-tech items that wealthy people badly want back.
Yeah, well, no offense, but that's I'm gonna file that under a problem for you to deal with.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
absolutely. It's not a bad thing.
Right at this moment, you see the same person who exited a moment ago comes back in, pushing a smaller version of the carts that you used to bring the weapons shipment in here. He pushes it up, and you can see there's a relatively small crate, probably no more than like 3 feet to any one side. And as you kind of open it and look inside, there are indeed some weapons, as well as a smaller lockbox inside the crate. And Olem, as you kind of reach for it and open it up, you can see an assortment of credit chits of various size, of various worth. And you kind of close it and set it back in the crate.
Okay, thank you. We will certainly be able to put this to use.
I figured
Oh
as
my
much.
god, there's still shit on Awakener that I haven't been able to fix yet, right? From our first firefight?
yeah, nothing-
Because I didn't have the proper...
Yeah.
We can fix her up finally.
Wynn just sort of nods and says, "Well, wherever your journeys take you next, I can't imagine can't imagine there's many that are worse than this place."
Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Well,
The jury's not in yet on that.
Company won't be nearly as good.
you ever find yourselves without a cause to pledge to, maybe think of us. Work's never done.
We've got your number.
They turn back to the consoles. As you make your way back out, kind of to Awakener, as you start loading up the crate. Mason, you're standing there. You hear somebody shout, and you turn, and you can actually see Trace like rushing down the platform. As she stops and just. So one second. Oh, sorry. I was on the complete other side of the facility when I heard that you were leaving. I just wanted to say, safe travels and thanks again. Yeah.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
I just tip my hat.
And she says, oh. She leans forward and just kisses you right on the mouth, just like.
Yes!
And,
I knew it. I'm
then-
like, if you guys don't kiss goodbye.
Ugh.
she pulls back and says, "Yeah, thanks."
Yep. Thanks. You be
Oh.
safe.
Yeah, you too.
Stuff. Yeah.
And she kind of glances back to the rest of you, where you're all
We
just.
were over there like 15 feet away.
You see that she color starts coming to her cheeks. So she says, "Stay safe, everybody."
You too.
And she just turns and starts walking down the platform. She turns back and smiles at Mason, and then just keeps going. Stops a little way down the platform and turns and just kind of stands basically at the entrance to the facility. And watches as you continue loading up.
Bina, as we're walking, it's just I feel like this is kind of a from far away. We could it pans out and see this walking away, and we're just shaking Mason's arm, you can see her yammering to him, but you don't hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that. Relax.
All right.
I can feel you radiating too, probably.
Yeah. She's excited for you, and you're okay, shut up, tone it down.
So as you the camera pan out moment in this instance is Bina sort of just shaking Mason, just sort of chattering away as the four of you make your way up the loading platform, or the loading ramp for Awakener. As the loading ramp closes, basically it sort of would be a cut to Trace's perspective as she's standing by the door, watching as Awakener just sort of begins lifting up off the platform, and gradually gaining altitude before turning slowly and just accelerating towards the atmosphere. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. I knew it. I knew there was romantic tension.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see it.
It's very. Yes, I get
Love
that.
to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Popcorn Lizard, thanks for that clip from earlier.
Yay.
Oh, was there a clip?
Yeah, there's a clip.
think it was
Any
the
case notes?
notepad.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's good. I took a note to try to go back and do that, but I'm glad.
Good.
Somebody
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
Yes.
That's a good clip. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Oh, what a good session.
yeah, everybody,
Yeah.
thanks so much for hanging out. And Henry, if you would like to take it away with our end
Oh
of
gosh, we
stream.
do that now.
We do that
Yeah,
now.
Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. There's a handful of good ways to stay in touch with us. Check out our content and support us if you like. We have a Patreon. We have a little coffee. We have a YouTube channel and an Anchor where you can catch this show, Infinite Horizon, some few days after the episodes are live, we have a Discord where you can keep in touch. To be clear, if you are subscribers here on Twitch, you get the $3 and $5 tier Patreon rewards via the Discord. So that's kind of a triad right there.
Mhm.
And the top Patreon tier, the World Builder one, gets you some opportunities to take part in the world building for these TTRPG shows like this one. And I know that those patrons and some of the writers met and did that stuff last night.
Yep.
The
But
first one for this campaign,
Yeah, the
right?
first one for Infinite
Yeah.
Horizon, and
But I very specifically didn't look at it because that's spoilers for me. But they made
So
some.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped because no offense to the Rule of Lore normal writers team, but some of the most memorable parts of our last
Yeah.
TTRPG show were made up by the patrons, the people who got involved in that. So,
I got to hear about some of the world building stuff afterwards because it was like worlds related and not like spoilers for plot stuff.
Right.
And it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
So check out the Patreon for that and for some other cool world storytelling, media, world building stuff at lower tiers.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming to hang out, and remember that on Friday, this Friday, we are having Ramblemancy, and it is going to be our semi-regular, not exactly monthly,
After show.
after show for Infinite
this
Horizon,
show.
where we're gonna like hang out. We're like, some number of us will be there. Unclear exactly which ones. A non-zero number of the cast and crew of Infinite Horizon will be present to answer your questions, to get excited about your reactions to stuff, to share their reactions to stuff. It's going to be great. We're just going to hang out and talk about Infinite Horizon.
7 p.m. Pacific.
Yes, that is 7 p.m.
Friday.
Pacific on Friday.
Be there.
So we will be tweeting about it. We will be talking in the Discord about it. We will be sending out smoke signals, carrier pigeons, rabbits with small notes like scrolls tied to their little
Dolphins?
like dolphins, especially the dolphins. So
Yep,
just keep an eye out. We'll be talking about that a lot, and we hope to see you there. And we're glad that you came here tonight to be with us, and we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves.
Good night.
Good night. Be well.